WPB-TV, 30 seconds.
All right, I hereby call this meeting to order. This is the special magistrate for the City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. I want to begin by explaining how this process is going to work. Generally, the building cases are heard on the agenda first, then the city will call the cases as they appear on the agenda. If you have appeared at today's hearing, your case will be called before the cases where no one else has appeared, but that is only true if you have signed in. So if you have not signed in, please see one of the officers in the back of the room. Once your case is called, I ask that you come down to the podium on my right-hand side, which is right over there. The city will put on its testimony and evidence first. You will have the opportunity to review any of this evidence and ask any questions of any of the city's witnesses. You will also have the opportunity to testify and present me with any of your own evidence. Once I have all the testimony and evidence, I will make a ruling. I will enter a written order either today at the hearing or in the next few days, which you'll receive a copy of. If you have any questions as we go through the process, please feel free to ask them. This is not a formal courtroom. The formal rules of evidence do not apply here. However, although this is not a formal courtroom, all testimony given today is taken under oath, under penalty of perjury. So if you're going to testify, you think you might testify, I'm going to ask that you stand and raise your right hand, and I will swear you in. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be truthful and accurate under penalty of perjury on the laws of the state of Florida? Yes, sir. Please be seated. The city can call their first case.
Okay, starting with matter number 1. Case number is CE 2205-0347. Case address is 817 43rd Street.
Good morning.
Good morning. Go ahead.
Okay, this property was cited on 5/25/2022 for 105.1 and 110.3. The notice of violation was sent certified mail and mailed and on 8/29/2022. It was not accepted. It was turned away. It was also posted on the property on 8/30/2022. The city recommends 60 days, then $50 a day after that.
Good morning, thank you. Sir, could you put your name on the record?
Oh, I'm sorry. This is Richard McCoy.
Thank you. Inspector McCoy, in addition to what you testified to, do you have, does your file reflect an executed affidavit of posting?
Yes, it was posted. It was posted on 8/30.
Okay, and in addition to posting the notice at the property, was it posted at City Hall?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay, can I see your file? Can I see your file?
Sure.
So I'm going to ask you a couple questions about it, so be able to look at it, okay? Okay. Thank you. Inspector McCoy, do you see the executed affidavit of posting in your file?
Yes.
Does that affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was sent also by first-class regular mail?
Oh, yes, it does.
Okay, and does that affidavit also reflect that the notice was posted at City Hall?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. With respect to this case, was a stop work order or red tag issued?
Yes.
And was that done by you?
Pardon me?
Was that done by you?
Yes, it was.
Can you please tell us what it is that you observed at the property that you feel was in violation?
They're building an addition to the house. At the time I looked at it, it wasn't attached to the structure, but it was evidently new block, but all I could really get was a look at it from outside the gate, because the gate was locked, so I kind of went around the fence to get a better look.
Okay. And once the stop work order or red tag was issued, have you had any communication with the owner or the owner's contractor or anybody?
Nope.
Okay.
They haven't applied for a permit. There's no contractor that I know of, and the homeowner, I have no phone number for them. I
Oh.
don't know if anybody from the city has.
Okay. And is it still in this condition? Have they removed it? Have they done anything else to it?
I was there recently, and it still looks pretty much just exactly the same.
Okay. Do we have any photographs, Monique? Do we have any photographs? Do you have?
I
Do you have?
thought there were some photographs. I don't know where.
Do you have copies of photographs in your?
Just of the posting.
Okay. Can you?
And a picture of the actual red tag, but
Okay.
yeah.
Did you take photos?
Yeah, I believe I did, yes.
Okay. Can you describe in any more detail what it is you saw? You saw a structure. It was cement
New
block.
block structure, no doors, no windows. It looked like they had plywood on the roof.
Okay. And since the notice of violation was issued, has there been any further communication by the owner or contractor?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
And again, you're indicating that you find no permit application or anything in the system?
Correct.
Okay. And, okay, Special Magistrate, thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs of the posting and the stop work order, the actual stop work order, and all other documents in the file.
Without objection, I'll admit those documents and evidence as City's Composite Exhibit 1. Is there anything further?
I don't have anything further. Do you have anything
Nope,
further,
I'm
sir?
good. That's it.
Inspector McCoy, just so I understand, you observed a structure being built on this property. In your opinion as a city inspector, this is a new structure, and that structure has not been permitted to your knowledge. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right, in case CE 220500347, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient to find the property in violation of 110.3 and 105.1. I give the respondent 60 days to come into compliance or a fine of up to $50 per day may issue.
Okay. Moving to item number 14. Case number is CE 220400241. Case address is 3726 Russell Ave, and it's rescheduled. Agenda item number 15. Case number is CE 22050027. Case address is 5107 North Flagler Drive.
Is there someone here on this case?
No, it's a construction
Oh,
case.
it's building, okay. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Good morning. Attilio Bilal, Inspector for the City of West Palm Beach. Property was initially cited on 5/3 of 22. Property was posted on site at City Hall, and we received a certified mail was returned and claimed undeliverable. The property was cited for building, electrical, mechanical, and plumbing, interior alterations without proper permits. The property manager has been in contact with me for this property. However, no permits have been obtained for the work that was installed, and the city's requesting 60 days to obtain the required permits. and after that, $100 a day.
Thank you. Inspector Belisle, does your file reflect an executed affidavit of posting?
Yes.
Does that affidavit also reflect that the notice was sent by first-class regular mail?
Yes.
Was a stop work order or red tag issued in this case?
Yes.
And can you please describe a little bit about what you saw or observed at the property that led you to believe there were violations?
Yes. While I was performing an inspection to the neighboring property, I noticed that there were some individuals on the property installing the air conditioners and electrical on this property. And I went to make contact with them, and they locked the door and would not proceed to talk to me. So I took the photographs that were viewable from the sidewalk, the air conditioner units, the electrical, and the property manager, I think it's Janice was her name, is in contact with me, and they're trying to do the right thing by applying and obtaining the right permits.
Okay. Thank you very much. And the photographs that we're reviewing, do those truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations you've observed at the property?
Correct.
Thank you. Is it your testimony that they'll need a minimum of 4 different permits?
Yes, they're going to need electrical for the mini splits, mechanical for the mini splits, and the individuals that were, they had the doors open, they had plumbing commencing. However, they would not let me gain access to talk with them.
Okay.
But you saw these plumbing fixtures being installed?
Yes, I saw rough plumbing being installed.
Thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, stop work order or red tag, and photographs.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents as evidence. The city's composite exhibit 1. Is there anything further from the city?
No, sir.
So you spoke with the manager, and they say they're going to apply for the permits, but to your knowledge, they have not done so yet?
Yes, I just checked this morning, and there is no permits have been obtained for the property.
Do you believe that 60 days is a sufficient amount of time for them to obtain these permits?
Yes, it's air conditioning mini split permits. They're usually not that delayed.
All right, in case CE 220500027, I make the following findings of fact and law. If I notice is sufficient, I find the property in violation of the listed code sections 105.1, 109.4, 110.3, FPC 107.1, specifically beginning construction without appropriate permits. I give the respondent 60 days to bring the property in compliance or fine of up to $100 per day. May issue.
Agenda item number 16, case number is CE 22050059. Case address is 401 50th Street.
Good morning. Attilio Belisle, Inspector for the City of West Palm Beach. Property was initially cited on 5/3 of 22. The city received regular mail, certified mail, and posting at City Hall. The certified mail was signed for. The property was cited for building, electrical, plumbing, and looks like here's some washer machines installed on the outside of the property. I'm here today as a representative of the property. The property is currently in progress to get the right permits for this work that was performed. The city's requesting 60 days and $100 a day.
Thank you. Inspector Belisle, briefly, does your file have an executed affidavit of posting?
Yes.
Does the file also reflect that the notice of violation was posted at the property?
Yes.
And is there a stop work order or a red tag that was issued?
Yes.
Can you please describe in a little bit more detail? You mentioned the washing machine. Is there something else going on that you observed at the property at all that led you to believe there were violations of the code?
Yes, the city received some information regarding a plumbing issue, and the inspection on the property exposed some plumbing that was performed to the property that was not to the minimum standards of the plumbing code. The outside washer and dryers have a structure built over them that was not obtained any kind of permits. And there is a, let me see here, mini split AC system. I think that was permitted though. That is all.
Okay, the notice also indicates that plumbing for irrigation, water heater,
Oh yes, there is a water heater on the exterior, electric water heater that is mounted next to the automatic clothes washers.
you mentioned the roof structure for the washing machine, and is there also an issue with a fence?
Yes, they have a fence in front of the washer and dryer in order to kind of screen the area.
Okay, and all of those items that you've discussed, you believe would require permits, is that accurate?
Yes,
Okay, and the photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed at the property?
yes,
Thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, stop work order, and photographs.
Sir, can you tell me your name, please?
Sammy Diamond, SAMMY-DIAMENT for Flagler Park Front, LLC. We're aware of the situation. We've attempted
Just
to
one
remedy
second,
it.
sir. Are you an attorney or just a
No,
representative?
I'm not an attorney. I work for the company.
You work for the company. All right, I promise I'll let you tell me anything you'd like me to know. I just need to know whether or not you object to any of those documents.
No, I don't. They're correct.
Without objection, I'll put those documents into evidence as city's composite exhibit 1. Okay, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, we've had difficulty getting a contractor. We finally got a contractor, and we had to get an architect engineer to give us a plan. He gave us a plan. The architect, the contractor's going to submit the plan, but apparently he's having trouble with the computer system. So he's working on it. We should have the plan in the next day or two.
The city would like to give you 60 days to obtain those permits. Is that a sufficient amount of time, sir?
Hopefully. It's up to how the city, how fast the city permit system is. Because this requires several permits.
Currently the city is a little bit behind on the permitting, so I would advise you to apply as soon as possible.
No,
as soon as you
we're
can get
working on
those.
it presently.
Yeah,
All right, I'm going to give you 90 days since it seems that you're working on this.
thank you.
All right, in case CE 22050059, make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of the listed code sections. I give the respondent 90 days to come into compliance or a fine of up to, what were you seeking, 100?
Say that
You
again?
were seeking $100 per day?
Yes.
Was that it? Yeah. Or a fine of up to $100 per day. We'll issue. So I gave you 90 days, but you really do need to get on it, sir. Okay?
Yes, we're on it now, hopefully, yeah. Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you.
Agenda item number 17, case number is CE 22050127. Case address is 4521 Georgia Avenue, and it's rescheduled. Okay. Moving to agenda item number 25. Case number is CE 22090026. Case address is 1362 North Mangonia Drive.
Good morning. Officer Underwood, City of West Palm Beach, Code Enforcement. Property address is 1362 North Mangonia Drive. It was cited on September 1st. We sent out certified mail September 2nd. City Hall and the property was posted September 2nd, and it was returned September 9th. It was cited for hat racking, tree abuse, and irreparable violation. We're asking for a one-time fine of $250 because it's irreversible. You can't fix the damage that has been done. She had a contractor or neighbor or somebody cut a tree on city property in the swale without a permit and hat racked it, which cut the whole top. That's not the pic. Keep going. Scroll through the pictures. She trimmed the tree back too far, and could cause the tree to go into shock and or die. There.
Thank you. Do you have an executed affidavit of posting in the file?
Yes, I do.
And does that affidavit also reflect that the notice of violation was sent by regular first-class mail?
Yes.
And with respect to the photographs that we're reviewing, do those photographs truthfully and accurately represent and depict the alleged violations that you've seen on the property?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, and photographs.
Ma'am, can you tell me your name, please?
Lydia Knowles Johnson.
And you live at 1362 North Magnolia Drive, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ma'am, do you have any objections to the documents that the city would like to enter into evidence?
Yes.
I'm sorry?
I didn't understand you.
Do you object to any of the documents, the pictures and documents that the city was talking
Oh,
about?
the pictures that he showed? No, no, sir.
Okay. Without objection, I'll enter the documents and evidence the city's composite exhibit 1. So the city says you hat-racked your tree, ma'am. What do you say?
I don't agree with that. What has happened is that I had insurance on my property that was canceled. Tried to get more, and the less I could get was $6,000 that I do not have. The tree is not what he said it was. It's all over my house. I have a 10-year-old roof. I couldn't get help from the county, the city, or the state, or the government to get my roof repaired. The tree was destroying my roof, destroying my driveway, destroying my car. So when the people came along saying they was doing the tree, I explained that to them, and I told them I only wanted so it would not affect my roof that I cannot replace, my car that I'm still paying for, and my driveway that I don't have a male relative of anybody to help with. I'm here now. I have an appointment at 11 o'clock. I'm being treated for pancreatic cancer, and I don't have the kind of money that they're saying. If I'm guilty, then I don't mind doing what I need to do, but I am going to need payments. I did not know they was going to do it that way. I look and see other trees in communities that's worse than that tree, and, you know, all I wanted was for it to stop beating up my roof, to stop damaging my car and my driveway. I have never been in trouble with the city. I have been a good community worker. I have served on the board of the Urban League. I've helped fed people, but no one has been there for me. Now, you tell a woman who has no relatives other than 3 daughters and she go out and seek help, and these 3 daughters pay somebody, that I would do something against the city, and I never would do anything against the city that I have served faithfully for 74 years.
Well,
Thank
ma'am,
you.
if I may, the city's not accusing you of a crime, and it's
Yeah,
not.
but I did not hack-track the tree. I told a man to cut it back.
Well, the problem to some degree is that as I look at the pictures, it's sort of the definition of a hat rack. So whoever you asked to cut back the tree didn't prune your tree properly.
I'm not denying that. I believe the gentleman who came out to me. He was very nice. If he said that's what happened, then that's what happened. I don't know anything about trees other than it was damaging my car and my roof that I can't afford to replace.
The city wants me to fine you $250 for the hat rack. What do you say to that?
I'm saying if that's what you want, then they need to give me a payment plan. That's all I'm saying, because you all are in charge, not me.
I tell you what I will do in this case, since it's obvious that, you didn't intend to do this, though this isn't really an intention crime, and the tree is in bad shape. I'll reduce the amount to $150, and I'll give you an extended period of time to pay it. How much time do you need?
I could do it in 2 months. My daughters will help me.
All right. I'll give you 60 days.
Thank you.
Special Magistrate, we normally don't have a time frame on these.
What?
On these one-time fines, normally we don't have a time frame
Well,
associated.
I'm going to give her one this time. All right, case CE 22090026. I find the property in violation of 2635B. I find notice is sufficient. Hereby issue a one-time fine in the amount of $150. And I'll give the respondent 60 days to pay.
Agenda item number 10, case number is CE 22080433. Case address is 620 Datura Street.
Morning. Michael Williams, Code Enforcement Officer, City of West Palm Beach. Property 620 Datura Street was initially cited on 8/24/22. Certified mail was sent on 8/25/22. We do have a signed certified mail receipt on file. The property, as well as City Hall, was posted on 8/26/22. This was a this was sent to us, I should say, from the sanitation department, as they were having some trouble navigating the alleyways with their garbage trucks. According to them, it was damaging some of the trucks or whatever. There was also multiple other properties that were cited. But at any rate, property was cited for 74-4-C-4, trees obstructing the right-of-way, more specifically the alleyways, and in addition to that, it was cited for 74-4-C-5, cleanup of the right-of-ways of the alleyways as well. In some of the photographs, you'll see that there's a substantial amount of debris and overgrowth. There was also a bed mattress that's on the lot. I met with a representative of the company on 9/16/22 at the property, Mr. Joey Riopol, who indicated that he was an employee of the company, and we walked the location, looked at what was necessary in terms of correction, and he indicated that they would take care of it. As of last evening, the violations still remain. So the city's requesting 15 days in order to comply, or a fine of $150 per day be imposed.
Thank you. Officer Williams, does your file also reflect an executed affidavit of posting?
Yes.
Does that affidavit also indicate that the notice of violation was sent by regular first-class mail?
Yes, it does.
The photographs that we've been reviewing during your testimony, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed on the property?
Yes, they do.
And all of these photos pertain to this property, is that accurate? Because you indicated that several other properties were
Yes.
also cited.
Yeah, those photos are specific to that particular property, this particular property, I should say.
Thank you very much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, and photographs.
Sir, can you tell me your name, please?
My name is William Strominger.
I'm sorry, one more time?
William Strominger.
Stranovich?
Strominger. It's Strominger.
Strominiter. Strominiter?
Strominger.
Strominger. Okay.
That's correct.
Strominger. Mr. Strominger, do you have any objection to any of the documents the city would like to put in evidence?
I do not.
Without objection, I'll enter the documents in evidence. The city's composite exhibit 1. Mr. Strominger, what is your relationship with Las Palmas Partners, LLC?
I work for the property management company.
Do they know that you're here representing them?
Yes, they do.
Does the city have anything further they want to present?
Mr. Strominger, what is your particular position with the company?
I'm a property manager.
Okay, and is it your duty to be the property manager for this particular property?
It is now.
Okay. And who is it from the property owner itself that you received authorization to be here and represent the company today here?
Alberto Urichaga told me to be here.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Mr. Strominger, tell me what's going on here.
It is overgrown. We have people that are going to come out. We're requesting 30-day extension to get in compliance. I just recently took over from the previous property manager.
Does the city have any objection to me giving them 30 days?
No, the 30 days is fine.
Sold. Case CE 220804333, make the following findings of fact on live find notice is sufficient to find the property in violation of 74-4C4 and 74-C5. Respondent has 30 days to bring the property in compliance or a fine of up to $150 per day may issue. Good luck.
Agenda item number 33. Gotta get there. Case number is CE 220801006. Case address is 1613 16th Way.
Right here. Good morning, City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance Officer Paul McFarland. On August 5th, I received a complaint for 1613 16th Way. The property was cited for repair of interior walls and floors, water damage to walls and ceiling, clean and unsanitary conditions. Walls are standing water through carpet in the unit due to the leak. Needs to be repaired. The property, as well as City Hall, was posted September 8th. Certified mail and regular mail was sent out August 8th. Certified mail was returned September 6th. I did try to make an attempt to make contact with the property owner with the information that was provided when they applied for their rental license. I still have had no contact with that property owner. With that being said, City is recommending 30 days to come into compliance or $500 a day until compliance is achieved. I do have the tenant here to testify to the condition of the unit as of today.
Ma'am, can you tell me your name, please?
Jarnicia Thomas?
Ms. Thomas, you live at this property?
Yes.
Tell me what's going on.
I made a complaint to the property manager previously about the mold because I had a plumbing issue within my restroom. They did send someone out to come fix it. Pretty much just sealed, removed the seal from the bathroom and resealed it and painted over it. It wasn't nothing really done. Eventually, about 2 weeks later, I noticed that we started receiving like drippings downstairs from the restroom as well. They did come out, checked it out, stopped the water in the bathroom. I haven't been able to use my restroom in the master bedroom for about 2 months now. The water is off, but the sink works. They did come in, rip the wall from where the paint dripped off. The hole is still in the wall. Nothing else has been done. I have no carpet in my closet. They came in, ripped the carpet up, and after that, that was it. We have holes where from my bathroom to my closet. I was told to take my clothes out of the closet, took my clothes out. We haven't seen anyone come back since. So it's still a hole in the wall pretty much. Nothing.
And it's still leaking as of today?
No, they did come and I guess they put a valve on the pipe to stop the water, and that was it. No one have came back after they put the fans in to dry the water up. They came, took the fans out, and that was it. We haven't heard from them, no updates, no anything.
And how long has it been since they fixed the leak?
Now it's 108 days.
Right. Thank you, ma'am.
Officer McFarland, very briefly, thank you for your testimony. Is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
Yes, ma'am.
With respect to the photo that's in the file of posting, is that a accurate and truthful depiction of the posting at this particular property?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you have written communication between yourself and the tenant and/or yourself and the owner or property manager?
I have written communication with me and the tenant, but I have no communication with the property owner. I did try to call the phone number that we have on file with the rental license. No one has responded to me. I left several messages. I also had a notice sent to the address that was provided with that said rental license.
Thank
And
you.
I had no one respond to me.
Thank you. The videos that we've been reviewing, Officer McFarland, did you take those videos or did Ms. Thomas take those videos?
Ms. Thomas, that's why she testified to it.
Okay, and may I ask Ms. Thomas a couple of questions about the videos? Hi, Ms. Thomas.
Hello.
I just wanted to double check, the videos that we've been reviewing, are those videos that you've taken?
Yes, I actually record videos every day and give the time and the dates that I'm recording to keep an update for my file.
And did you, you provided those videos to Officer McFarland?
Yes,
Was that through email?
yes.
Okay, very good, thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, videos, emails, and we were also viewing on the screen the maintenance requests that the claimant had with the property.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents as evidence. The city's composite exhibit 1. City, have anything further to present?
No.
And you did service through certified mail and posting, right?
Yes, sir.
And no one from the management company or the owner has contacted you?
No one has made any attempt to contact me.
All right, in case CE 22080160106, sorry. I make the following findings of fact and law. I find that notice is good and sufficient. I find the property in violation of 18103C and 18106A. I give the respondent 30 days to come to compliance by repairing the damaged interior walls and ceiling and by removing any standing water and cleaning up any mold. I order them to do that within 30 days or a fine of $500 per day may issue.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 32, case number is CE 22080032. Case address is 5335 North Military Trail, Unit 60. And Special Magistrate, I think the respondent needs to be sworn in on this one.
Remember, were you here earlier to be sworn in?
No.
All right, would you please raise your right hand? And anyone else that came in late that needs to, that's going to testify at some point, please rise and raise your right hand. You swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be truthful and accurate under penalty of perjury and the laws of the state of Florida.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Good morning, City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance Officer Paul McFarland. On August 1st, the property at 5335 North Military Trail, Unit 60, was cited for repair of interior walls, damaged ceiling throughout store, clean and sanitary, replace all water damaged ceiling tiles throughout store, obstruction of right-of-way, shopping carts are blocking sidewalk, address characters, signage requirements, and outdoor storage. The property, as well as City Hall, was posted September 1st. Affidavit of posting is attached in case notes. Certified mail as well as regular mail went out August 2nd. Certified mail was received August 4th. I've been in contact with the property manager. I did meet with the tenant at Unit 60, and we did do a walkthrough with the manager yesterday. And at that time, the property was still in violation of repair of interior walls, obstruction of right-of-way, and signage requirements and outdoor storage. They have come into compliance with the unsanitary condition and the address characters. With that being said, city's recommending 120 days to come into compliance or $100 a day. I do want to explain why I'm asking for such a long period of time. In order to try to combat the outdoor storage in the rear, they're going to need to pull a permit for some fencing. They do want to try to install a cart carousel on the sidewalk there, which would require a permit and approval. So this is why city's recommending 120 days to come into compliance.
Thank you, Officer McFarland. With respect to the photographs that we've been reviewing, do those photographs truthfully and accurately represent and depict the alleged violations that you've observed at the property?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you just briefly tell us a little bit more about what you observed about the signage and what you were seeing in the outdoor storage that led you to believe these were alleged violations?
As you can see, the windows are completely covered with signage and other window coverings. They have attempted to pull down most of the window coverings, but there are still some plates of glass that are still covered from top to bottom. It must be 25% of the window pane that can be covered. And in relation to the outdoor storage, in the rear, they have some milk crates that are being stored in the rear of the property, as well as some piles of pallets that are being stored in the rear.
Thank you very much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, and photographs.
Ma'am, can you tell me your name, please?
My name is Lisette Rivera.
I'm sorry, one more time?
Lisette Rivera.
Ms. Rivera, are you a representative of the landlord or the tenant?
I'm a representative of the landlord. I'm the VP of Property Management.
For 5335 North Military Trail LLC?
Yes, through the management company, Simpatico Real Estate.
Ma'am, do you have any objections to any of the documents the city would like to put in evidence?
No.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents to evidence as city's composite exhibit 1. So the city says you have these violations. They want to give you 120 days to fix them. What do you say?
I agree. I've done weekly visits at this site because we're having issues. We have an attorney involved defaulting the tenant. He and I were on the property the same day, didn't see each other, but we were on the property the same day. They still have issues with the refrigeration inside where there's black mold inside. The repairs that they were supposed to make, they still haven't made. There is a plate glass window in the front that they just made me aware of is broken, and that's why they haven't taken the film off of it. We've gotten a company that's going to go out and replace that window. The tenant is continuing with the pallets. They have someone come every Wednesday, and we keep telling them you can't stack them the way they are, you can't store them where they are. And I had explained to him that where they want to put a fenced area, the property is going under a redevelopment. We should be starting approximately about October 3rd. That area is going to get dumpster enclosures throughout that area, which will remove their compactor that they have there. So to put fencing there, it's not probably a feasible thing to do. The tenant is in violation. The lease only allows 2 containers to be stored on the property. They have approximately 5. So it's an effort that we're doing. I agree with where he's coming from, and we're working with the tenant also.
Sounds like you got your work cut out for you. All right, in case CE 220800032, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of 18103C, 78-1, 941110C6, and 943115B1. Specifically, that there are obstructions blocking the right-of-way, that there is a damage that needs to be repaired on the interior walls and ceiling, that there is signage that is covering more than 25% of the window, and that there is outdoor storage, including pallets and crates being stored in the rear of the property. Respondent has 120 days to bring the property into compliance, or a fine of $100 per day may issue. Thank you, ma'am.
Just confirming we have no other respondents present. Okay. Moving to agenda item number 2. Case number is CE 22080034. Case address is 2907 Broadway.
Good morning, John Frasco, West Palm Beach Code. This property was declared a chronic nuisance on August 2nd of 2022. The property was posted that day, and certified mail and regular mail was sent. Was requesting the owner supply an action plan sufficient enough to curtail the nuisance activity. No action plan and no contact from the owner was provided. The case is based on 2 prior adjudicated cases, which I've handled myself and had the adjudication done. The second one was for a repeat violation for the same events: overgrowth, unsanitary conditions. So no compliance, no contact from owner. Notice of violation, notice of hearing was sent out. It was mailed out on August 23rd of 2022 and posted, no, August 12th of 2022 and posted on August 23rd of 2022. The city is requesting that a formal declaration of that the property is a chronic nuisance and request a service order allowing us to abate the issues as needed, and all costs billed back to the owner of the property.
Thank you, Officer Frasca. With respect to the chronic nuisance declaration of August 2nd, you indicated that the property was posted and certified and regular was sent out. Would City Hall have been posted at that point?
No, City Hall doesn't get posted. It's about fee recovery for the city. So the property gets posted
Okay.
according to the ordinance.
Okay. And is there any particular type of affidavit of posting when it comes to that declaration?
Yes.
Okay. And is that in your file?
Yes, it is.
And with respect to the current notice of violation, that's based on the fact that, do I understand you did not receive an action plan?
Correct.
Okay, and the lack of receipt of an action plan is in itself a potential violation, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and that notice of violation about not receiving an action plan, that was sent by certified mail and regular mail?
Yes.
And that notice of violation was also posted at the property and at City Hall?
Yeah.
And
the
is there
property, not City Hall. The property gets posted, not City Hall. So it's the property.
Is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file with respect to this particular notice of violation about not receiving the action plan?
Yes.
Okay, does that affidavit reflect that City Hall was posted?
No.
Okay. And I think we've been reviewing, have we been reviewing some photos? Thank you. Were the photos taken by yourself?
Yes, they were.
And do those photos truthfully and accurately represent and depict the alleged violations that you've observed on the property?
Yes, ma'am, they absolutely do.
And can you just tell us a little bit more in detail about what you did observe?
A steadily overgrowth over a period of time, which violates the excessive vegetation, the debris that comes from the property, and the overall condition of the lot in a very visible, highly troubled area, I should say.
Thank you.
Have you had any contact with the owner of this property at all?
Unfortunately not, sir.
In the previous cases, did they bring the property into compliance at some point?
No, sir. We've complied the property each time. In the repeat violation, they had an opportunity to cut and clean the property, and we sent the contractor in to abate it and stop the fines from running on the repeat violation. Hence, now there is a fine against the property.
Well, somebody signed for it, looks like. And no contact, huh?
No, sir.
And you're
Thank you.
concerned, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was just going to go ahead and submit my evidence.
And you're concerned that the conditions on the property, including the overgrowth and debris, constitutes a problem for this area?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, go ahead, you had a question?
The city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the declaration of chronic nuisance, affidavits of posting, certified mailings on both the notice of, or the declaration and the notice of violation. The photographs and certified mailing documents.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents to evidence the city's composite exhibit 1. All right, in case CE 220800034, make the following findings of fact and law. I hereby find that a pattern of nuisance activity exists on the property. I affirm the city's declaration that the property is a chronic nuisance. I hereby enter a chronic nuisance service order authorizing the city to perform any nuisance abatement services that are needed on the property and to charge the cost of said abatement against the property and property owner.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 3, case number is CE 220800402. Case address is 430 North Ware Drive, and it's complied. Agenda item number 4, case number is CE 22090050. Case address is 714 Palmetto Street.
John Frosca, West Palm Beach Code, substituting for Officer Oliva. This property was cited for unsanitary conditions, excessive growth, landscape maintenance, vegetative debris, and address characters. Property was posted on September 9th, and certified mail was sent on November 7th. Certified mail was returned, and there's been no contact from the owners as far as I can tell.
Thank you. Officer Frosca, does the file reflect that there's an executed affidavit of posting?
Yes,
Does that affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was also sent by first-class regular mail?
yes, it was.
Does that affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was also posted at the property?
Yes,
And does that affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was also posted at City Hall?
yes, it does.
Thank you. Have you yourself observed or gone to the property?
Yes, I have.
And what have your observations been at
All
the
the-
property?
I'm sorry. All the violations still exist on the property, and they appear to be getting worse.
Okay. And I apologize, I probably missed a little bit of what you were talking about. Can you just describe briefly what we're seeing in the photographs?
The parkway area in the front yard is overgrown. The landscape is unhealthy. There's a lot of overgrowth with weeds. There's a lot of bare dirt spaces, keeping an unsanitary environment, vegetative debris. Overall, just from the front, it is an attractive nuisance. The property looks abandoned and unkept. There's a picture of the backyard that I took, and it's even worse than the front. Same conditions, though.
Is it your testimony that, did you take any of the photographs that we're reviewing?
The final photographs, yes.
Okay. And with respect to, did you review the existing photographs in the case?
I did.
And with respect to the existing photographs and your photographs, is it your testimony that these photographs truthfully and accurately depict and represent the current alleged violations on the property?
They absolutely do.
Are you testifying that you believe that this is also a repeat case, and are you asking for repeat fines?
Yes, we're asking for fines. It's based on 3 prior adjudicated cases of identical or very similar violations: the overgrowth, the unsanitary conditions, the numbering, and the landscape maintenance kept in unhealthy, unsanitary conditions. When you have bare dirt spots throughout, there's a lot of unsanitary conditions that creates, not just for that structure, the neighboring structures, and for our streets and sidewalk.
So specifically, the repeat violations are, which numbers are we talking about here?
18-106A, 18-106B, the landscape maintenance, 18-106K. The repeat violation of that is 2635, which outlines that whole ordinance for fines that would be charged, and the address characters. And additionally, they have the parkway and swale, which is really covered under the landscape maintenance in its entirety.
Okay, and what underlying cases are we talking about that we can put into the record?
Well, I have the adjudicated case numbers and the dates the special magistrate made the order. So the first one was done, the first order was, for that case, was done November 4th of 2020. The second one was done August 4th of 2021. And the third one, the order was done January 5th of 2022.
Okay, are we talking about the following cases? CE 20280270, CE 21070090,
CE 21070090, and the last one is CE 01100174.
So,
All three cases have an order in them from the magistrate.
and are those cases still running or accruing fines for any
None
of
of
those?
them are accruing fines.
Okay, so they've all come into compliance.
They came into compliance.
And when was the first observation of the alleged repeat violations in this case?
Mr. Officer Oliva noticed it on 9/6 of 2022.
And all those alleged violations still continue, is that your testimony?
They are here, they are still there as of yesterday when I lastly inspected the property.
And are you asking for a daily fine? And is it from 9/6/2022 to present and continuing?
To continue until the property comes into compliance, yes. Respectfully, because this is the fourth case, the city would be asking $250 a day until compliance is achieved. Given the history of this and based on that, the city would also request an abatement for the property so that we can comply. So if the fines run for hypothetically 30 days, as soon as I could get the contractor out there for the health, life, safety of the community, and the fact that this does pose that threat because it is an attractive nuisance, we would like to do that. And hopefully the owner of the property will get it done prior to that or make himself present, but that's what we would be requesting.
And when you say an attractive nuisance, briefly, what is your testimony as to why this rises to the level of a health, safety, and welfare violation?
I think the condition of it speaks for itself under that doctrine that Florida has.
So do you
It can't really speak for itself. You got to speak to it.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I said it can't really speak to itself. You actually have to testify to the conditions that constitute a threat to the health, safety, and welfare.
Right, and that's the grounds of this, so.
So, in other words, do you believe that the condition of the property is an attractive nuisance for vagrants or other squatters to come into the property?
I mean, it looks abandoned.
And could it be an attractive nuisance for people to throw or dump litter or garbage? And
yes.
And could this attract other critters or varmints and rodents?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, thank you. And Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, as well as the underlying cases upon which this repeat allegation is based, those notices of violation, orders, and affidavits of compliance.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents and evidence as City's Composite Exhibit 1. So what remedy is the city seeking?
It's $250 a day, starting from 9/6 of 2022, and continuing in addition to abatement, and thus, once it's abated the first time, the fines would end up stopping because the property would be in compliance at that point.
In other words, the owner has the opportunity.
How much time do you want to give the owner before you abate?
I would like an immediate abatement, but to understand, Magistrate, I can't get a contractor in there tomorrow to do it, so I have to schedule him to be able to do it, and then he has the time to do it. So I couldn't say specifically be here on this date. So it would run concurrently until the property.
You don't need to do that. I need to give a specific date authorization. So if you want immediate abatement, then there'd have to be an immediacy to the, I'll do it this way. I've heard enough. So in case CE 22090050, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of 18106A, 18106B, 18106K, 78-6, and 7894C. I specifically find that 18106A, 18106B, and 18106K and 78-6 constitute a repeat violation under the Code of the City of West Palm Beach. I make further finding that the current violations on the property constitute a threat to the health, safety, and welfare of the City of West Palm Beach, and specifically that there is trash, debris, grass, weeds, and unmaintained landscaping that constitute a threat to the health, safety, and welfare by constituting habitat for vermin and an attractive nuisance both for children and possibly for potential misconduct on the property. I hereby order the respondent to immediately bring the property into compliance and hereby assess a fine in the amount of $250 per day beginning on 9/6 and continuing until the property comes into compliance. I further hereby authorize the city to enter the property and abate any and all violations after 7 days. The cost of said abatement will be charged against the property and property owner. Once the property is abated, the fines will cease.
Perfect, thank you.
Agenda item number 5, case number is CE 22080209. Case address is 395 27th Street.
Morning, Alex Olivers, Code Officer for the City of West Palm. This property was cited on August 11th. Service was sent on August 11th, and it was posted as well on August 11th. Certified mail was signed and returned on September 7th, and the tenant complained about this property for a leak on the ceiling, a broken sink, a lack of maintenance on the balcony, and the AC wasn't working. He also complained about, as you can see in the video, the elevator wasn't working. The lights on the elevator weren't working, which I reported that to the elevator division. So I went yesterday to inspect, and they had not refixed the leaks on the ceiling, like the humidity mold that's growing. They did fix everything else, but that and in the back of the cabinet, you can see there the cabinet sinked in, like it actually fell in, and like when you open up the cabinets, it wasn't that. So yesterday it was fixed, but the back of the cabinet is still open and it's moldy. I have had zero contact with the owners. No, I'm sorry, I apologize. Yesterday my supervisor, Mark, he did some digging around, and he found some information from the management, and we were able to get a hold of Alexandra, who is the manager for the property. She stated that unlike the statement of the tenant said there was just lack of maintenance and it was just negligence. The Alexandra mentioned that it was just the tenant who has some mental issues and he's just breaking things apart. So since then, I have no contact with them. I have called the tenant who complained in the first place. He never calls back. Voicemail is full. And yesterday, after I inspected the property, I went down to management and to speak with them, and there was nobody there. I called all the numbers they gave me downstairs when I spoke with them at the administration's office. But yeah, I have no. Me personally, I haven't had any contact with anybody. But as of yesterday, if you can see the Complied, the pictures from yesterday, that's the roof, I believe. Yeah, yesterday. The sink is fixed. The thing on the balcony, not the balcony, the window sill is fixed as well. That was tied down. I asked the management, the maintenance guy who let me in to open that up, and when he opened it up, you can see the hole in the back. Oh, they fixed that too, yes. The dishwasher, it was put back in and installed. But that's what they need to fix. Like the bottom of the cabinet is open, and you can see it's open into the wall. Other than that, they fixed, AC was working, everything else is just like the mold on the corner of his room and the back of the cabinet, but I have no contact with them. So the city's asking for 30 more days, hoping they call back, have some contact. If not, just $100 a day after that.
Thank you. Officer Oliver, does your file reflect an executed affidavit of posting?
Yes.
And does that affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was also sent by regular first-class mail?
Yeah.
Does it also reflect that the property was posted?
Yes.
Does it reflect that City Hall was posted?
Yes.
The photographs that we've been reviewing, are those all your photographs?
Yes.
And do those photographs truthfully and accurately represent and depict the observations that you've made on the property?
Yes.
And can you just tell us, just briefly going down the list, with respect to your very detailed testimony, for the allegation that there's a violation of 18103A based on what has now been done to the property, is that still an alleged outstanding violation?
Yes, because the ceiling still has mold and it looks like it's growing.
Thank you. With respect to 18103C, is that still outstanding?
The plumbing repair, partially, because they did fix the sink, but still the cabinets in the back are not. So I don't know if it would be in the plumbing, but it's just the cabinet underneath the plumbing, yeah, so.
Okay. 18103G?
That was for maintenance of, general maintenance. It's still like it's partially because they haven't entirely fixed everything.
Okay. 18103I?
And the kitchen sink, the dishwasher was installed in, the sink put back in, but still the cabinets, so everything's partially
Okay.
complied.
And that, in that respect, 18971, would that still be partially outstanding?
I would think so, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good, thank you.
Yeah.
Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, and photographs.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents and evidence. The city's composite exhibit 1. So all of these, if I understand correctly, all of these are still at least partially at issue?
Yeah.
All right, in case CE 220800209, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice sufficient. I find the property in violation of 18103A, 18103C, 18103G, 18103I, and 1897-1. Specifically, the structure needs to be repaired, mold removed, the interior cabinets need to be fixed, the plumbing fixture needs to be installed properly, the equipment needs to be maintained, including the sink and the cabinet beneath it. The respondent has 30 days to come to compliance or a fine of $100 per day may issue.
Agenda item number 6, case number is CE 220800311. Case address is 950 York Street.
Good morning, Officer Williams, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. The property address at 950 York Street was originally cited on August 15, 2022. Regular as well as certified mail was sent out August 18, 2022. That was received August 23, 2022. The property as well as City Hall was posted on August 30th, 2022, and an affidavit of posting was prepared and placed in the case file. To date, I've had no contact with the owner. They were originally cited for 18106B for the excessive growth of the yard, 78-6 for numbering standards. There were no address characters on the home. 94-487B-1 for the commercial truck that's parked on the property, and 94-71-C for the outdoor storage, various items that were stored in the yard. As of this morning, 78-6 and 94-71-C, the outdoor storage has been complied. 18106B for the excessive overgrowth of the yard, and 94-487B-1 for the commercial truck are still present on the property. The city is requesting 30 days to bring the property into compliance or a $100 a day fine thereafter.
Thank you, Officer Williams. The photographs that we've been reviewing during your testimony, do they truthfully and accurately represent and depict the alleged violations that you're seeing at the property?
Yes, ma'am.
And just in general, can you just give us a little bit more of a detail about the overgrowth or the excessive growth that you're seeing?
Sure. So the grass in the front yard there, as you can see, well exceeds 6 inches in height. They have mowed most of it, but there's certain parts of the lawn that still need to be trimmed and cut there. And then again, just the commercial vehicle that's parked there in the driveway just needs to be removed from the property.
And that's that white vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
And where is it parked at the property? In a driveway or on the curb?
It's in the driveway.
Okay. And have you seen that there more than once?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, and photographs.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents as evidence, the city's composite exhibit 1. In case CE 220803111, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of 18106B and 94487B1. Specifically, there is overgrowth, continues to be some overgrowth and weeds on the property, and there is a commercial vehicle parked on the property in prohibition of 94487B1. Respondent has 30 days to bring the property in compliance or fine $100 per day measure. Thank you, sir.
Agenda item number 7. Case number is CE 22060044. Case address is 3232 Greenwood Avenue, Unit 1/2. I don't know.
Good morning, J. Francis, City of West Palm Beach Code. 3232 Greenwood Avenue was cited on 6/3/22. Regular mail and certified mail was sent on 6/6/22. Both the property and City Hall were posted on 9/7/22. The affidavit of posted was completed on 9/7/22. This property was cited for artificial turf, sod, grass, or approved plant material, landscape maintenance, garbage can placement, and outdoor storage. I have been in contact with the property owner, and as of this morning, the property has not come into compliance. Therefore, the city is asking for an additional 90 days to come into compliance. If compliance is not achieved within that time, then the city is asking for a $100 a day fine until compliance is achieved.
Thank you. Officer Francis, with respect to the photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately represent and depict the observations of the alleged violations you've seen at the property?
Yes, ma'am.
And can you just briefly walk us through some of these photographs of what you're seeing that you believe support the alleged violations?
Well, in the picture there, the garbage can is in public view. You can see it from the right of way. The entire front yard is mulched. They have a playset out front, actually standing on artificial turf, and they have a bunch of canopies to the side that you can see from the right of way that's actually touching the adjoining building of the neighbor's property. Yeah, and I have gotten complaints from the neighbor about that as well.
Thank you. With respect to the address is listed as 3232 Greenwood Avenue, number 1/2. Does that?
Yeah, it's not a rental property.
I'm sorry?
It's not a rental property. I looked into it.
Okay, so that was the address as listed in the
Yes,
property
in-
appraiser's website?
Yes.
Okay. And, okay, thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, and photographs.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents as evidence as city's composite exhibit 1. So the issue with the landscape maintenance, that's the absence of grass, 18106K?
Pardon?
18106K, is that the absence of grass? Is that the issue there?
Yes.
Garbage can, I can see. 94442C1 is a reference to the artificial grass there. No, actually, that's probably the mulch, right?
The mulch, yes, in the front. And then under the playset is artificial turf.
94441 is artificial turf. I can see the outdoor storage. Okay. All right, in case CE 22060044, I make the following findings of fact and law. If I notice is sufficient to find the property in violation of 18106K specifically, there needs to be grass on the front side and rear yard. 7434A1J, the garbage can is visible in the front of the property. 94442C1, There's artificial turf in areas that need to be grassed, and there is mulch in areas that need to be grassed. 94.451A, the artificial turf can only exist in limited, and it's in violation here. It's 9471C, outdoor storage on the property that's visible to both the street and the neighbor. Respondent has 90 days to bring the property in compliance or a fine of $100 per day issue.
Agenda item number 8, case number is CE 220701112. Case address is 1812 South Olive Avenue.
Don Williams, Code Enforcement, 1812 South Olive Avenue, was cited on July 13th of 22. Certified mail was sent out on August the 31st of 22. City Hall and the property was posted on September 9th of 22. The property was cited for 94302-A-4, which is fence or wall maintenance. As of yesterday, has not been complied, and no contact with the owner of the property. My recommendation is 30 days to comply or $100 a day after that.
Thank you. Officer Williams, is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
Yes.
And does that affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was also sent by regular first-class mail?
Yes.
With respect to the photographs that we've been reviewing, do those photographs truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed on the property?
Yes.
Could you please just tell us a little bit in more detail what you observed that you believe is a violation?
As you can see, the hedge is protruding over the sidewalk. The complaint was the hedge, and I later discovered that the problem was the fence behind the hedge is actually leaning and pushing the hedge over the sidewalk. So that's the violation.
Okay, and for the repair, would they need, just to repair it, would they need a permit?
No,
as far as
they
you know?
couldn't repair the fence without a permit.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, and photographs.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents as evidence of City's Composite Exhibit 1. Sorry, Officer Williams, how long did you want to give them to repair that fence?
30 days.
And the fine you were seeking?
$100 a day.
All right, in case CE 220701112, I make the following findings of fact. On line, fine notice is sufficient. Find the property in violation of 94302A4. Respondent has 30 days to come to compliance or fine of up to $100 per day may issue.
Agenda item number 9, case number is CE 220800023. Case address is 526th Street.
Don Williams, Code Enforcement. Property at 526th Street was cited on August 1st of 22. Certified mail sent out August 23rd of 22. City Hall and the property posted September 9th of 22. No contact with the owners of the property. The violations are 22-32A, certificate of use, and 22-44-1, which is rental license required. The issue is that they have not completed the application process by getting an inspection, so the license is actually on hold on this property. So I recommend 30 days to comply or $100 a day after that.
Thank you. Officer Williams, does your file reflect an executed affidavit of posting?
Yes.
Does that affidavit also indicate that the notice of violation was sent by regular first-class mail?
Yes.
The photographs that, or the photograph that we reviewed, does that truthfully and accurately represent the posting at the property?
Yes.
And is the completed application a part of your file?
Correct, yes.
Rental application, excuse me. And there's also a courtesy notice in the file I think we reviewed. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, completed application, and courtesy notice.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents to evidence of City's Composite Exhibit 1. So they just, if I understood your testimony correctly, they just need to get an inspection?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And they've already filed for the permit?
Yes, they have.
Okay. All right, in case CE 220800023, I make the following findings of fact and law. If I notice is sufficient, find the property in violation 2232A and 22441. Respondent has 30 days to come to compliance or fine of $100 per day may issue.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 11, case number is CE 22090086. Case address is 1205 Worthington Street.
Michael Williams, Code Enforcement Officer, City of West Palm Beach. Property 1205 Worthington Street was initially cited on 9/8/22. Certified mail was sent on 9/8/22. We do have a signed certified mail receipt on file. Property as well as City Hall was posted on 9/9/22. Property was cited for 18106E, extermination of bees, 18106K, landscape maintenance, 74-4-C-3, overgrowth, 94-71-C, outdoor storage. As of last evening, the following sections were noted complied: 74-4-C-3, the overgrowth. All other violations still remain. Have not had any contact with the property owner. With regard to the bees, that was actually emailed into me by the neighboring property. They indicated during the evenings when they come out, bees are flying from this particular property over to their property, and they kind of feel like it's somewhat of a hazard. I was able to see some bees coming from this particular property and just kind of flying around. It was somewhat difficult to capture it in a photo. If you keep strolling through, Monique, there's a photo in the backyard where I noted the bees were coming from. Right there, if you can kind of, just kind of above that area there. Again, it was.
Is that a hive?
It looks like there was a hive there, and perhaps they made some attempt to remove it, but it looks like they didn't thoroughly remove it. And so I've had some previous experiences with this, and when you don't thoroughly remove all of it,
they come back.
Yeah, and there's still some that still linger.
Hang around, yeah.
Linger around the area. And so what the city's requesting is, in light of that, the city's requesting 20 additional days in order to comply. All of the violations or a fine of $50 per day be imposed.
Thank you. Officer Williams, does your file reflect an executed affidavit of posting?
Yes, it does.
Does that affidavit also reflect that the notice of violation was sent by regular first-class mail?
Yes.
The photos that we've been reviewing, do those truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed on the property?
Yes.
With respect to the landscape maintenance and the outdoor storage, could you just briefly tell us in a little bit more detail what you've observed?
Sure. With regard to 18106K, 18106E, the bees were noted still remaining in the area. 18106K, the landscape maintenance, there is a stump of a palm tree that still remains in the front yard, very visible in the front yard. The overgrowth 74-4-C-3 was complied, and there's just random sporadic outdoor storage, not only in the side yards but in the front yards as well. There's tires, there's buckets, there's, I don't know, just a whole host of items, post, garbage bags, just a host of different items.
Thank you very much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, as well as the email that the officer testified to received through the complainant.
Without objection, I'll accept those into evidence of City's Composite Exhibit 1. Officer Williams, so 74-4-C-3 is in compliance?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
They did a nice job cutting the grass.
But they didn't remove the stump, and they still have the garbage out there?
Yes, the outdoor storage still remains, as well as the stump still remains.
All right, in case CE 22090086, make the following findings of fact and law. Find notice is sufficient on property in violation of 18106A, specifically that they still have bees on the property. 18106K, that the palm tree stump is still there in the front yard, and 9471C outdoor storage, including number of items and garbage. Respondent has 20 days to bring the property in compliance or fine of $50 per day may issue.
Yep.
Agenda item number 12, case number is CE 22070290. Case address is 506 41st Street.
Hi, good morning. My name is Sandy Mills, Code of Compliance Officer for the City of West Palm Beach. This property was cited on July 26, 2022. Service was accomplished by certified mail sent on July 27, 2022. Certified mail was signed for on July 29, 2022. In addition, both the property and City Hall were posted on July 28, 2022. I have not been in contact with the property owner. A copy of the affidavit of posting was also placed on file. This property was cited for no permit for a new door, which was installed last year. Also a rotten wood on the exterior of the property. The roof and the flashing is also in disrepair. There are cracks in the ceiling and the wall and leak over the front window closest to the door. Poor exterior water drainage, which also seeps into the laundry room. And the result of that is the washing machine was put on blocks to avoid the water touching the electricals. Also, the bathtub is not properly sealed. There's also missing cabinetry, the cabinet drawer. Not all outlets work properly. No cold water in the bathroom currently. Kitchen oven does not work, and the microwave opens less than 45 degrees. I have the tenant here, which will testify in detail as to the violations. As of this morning, the property has not come into compliance. Therefore, the city is asking for an additional 90 days for them to come into compliance. If they do not come into compliance, then the city is asking for $100 until compliance is achieved.
Let me just ask you, Officer Mills, a couple of questions, and then we'll move to your witness.
Okay.
In the affidavit of posting that you testified to, does it indicate that the notice of violation was also sent by regular first-class mail?
It does.
The photographs that we've been reviewing, are those your photographs, or are they photographs that the tenant has taken?
Majority of it is mine, and a few, it's noted that some were taken from the tenants in a separate file.
And the ones that you've taken, are those truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed on the property?
That's correct.
Thank you. You testified briefly to a new door installation. Is that a door where on the property? The front, the garage?
The front and only door, new door was put in. There are no records of a permit on file, and hence the reason for the needing a permit.
Okay, thank you. And what was it about the roof that you believe is in violation?
Leaking. The window closest to the door has a leak over it, so that's why the roof.
Okay, thank you. Was there a courtesy notice sent to the owner prior to the notice of violation?
No courtesy notice.
Okay. And thank you. We would like to hear from the witness at this point.
Hello, my name is Fonda Manus. I am a renter of the property, and I have met with their handyman several times to address the issues that were in fault with the property, as well as some of the issues were discussed prior to agreement with them that it would be fixed prior to my move-in, which it has not been. I view this property as, I'm a handicapped individual, and I view this property due to the flooding, and the property floods when it rains, the front, and the access to the utility room, which houses the washer and dryer, to a point that the washer and dryer had to be put on to blocks because I felt there was a danger of an electrical situation. I have done 2 walkthroughs with the maintenance man that is hired by the property manager. and I have made them aware of all issues, but there has been no communication. I've sent certified letters to the owner of the property or manager of the property, and there has been no communication with me other than with the handyman.
Thank you. Are some of these pictures photographs that you've taken?
The only ones that I took are the ones that involve flooding of the property, and that was because it happens when it rains. And the code officer has not been there when it rains, so she actually could not have pictures of it.
Okay. And you provided those photographs to the code officer via email?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. I don't have any further questions for you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and emails.
Without objection, I'll accept those in evidence. City's Composite Exhibit 1. So the city is seeking 90 days or $100 per day here?
Yes.
All right, in case CE 2207029, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. Find the property in violation of 105.1 for failure to obtain a permit for installing the new door, 18103B for roof leaks and rotten exterior wood and roof, 18103C because there are cracks in the ceilings and the wall with water leaking in, 18103D for water that is settling in the laundry room and exterior property. No proper drainage. 18103H for not sealing the bathroom tub properly. 18103I for missing cabinets, broken vanity drawer in the bathroom. 1895A for electrical outlets in disrepair. 1897.5 for failure to maintain hot water lines, and 1897.9 for having kitchen equipment, including the microwave and oven. The oven that does not work. Respondent has 90 days to bring the property in compliance or fine of $100 per day may issue.
Agenda item number 13, case number CE 22080452. Case address is 639 39th Street.
Hi, good morning. My name is Sandy Mill, Co-Compliance Officer for the City of West Palm Beach. This property was cited on August 25th, 2022. Service was accomplished by certified mail sent on August 26, 2022. Certified mail was signed for on August 27, 2022. In addition, both the property and City Hall were posted on August 30, 2022. I have not been in contact with the owner of the property. A copy of the affidavit of posting was also placed on file. This property was cited for trash at the rear of the property, grass and weed more than 6 inches in height, hard water stain on the front structure. The alley in general need maintenance, address character which is needed on the rear of the property, and the front fence needs repair. As of this morning, the property has not come into compliance. Therefore, the city is asking for an additional 30 days for them to come into compliance. If they do not come into compliance, the city is asking for 100 days until compliance is achieved.
$100.
Thank you. Officer Mills, does your file also reflect that the notice of violation was sent by regular first-class mail?
Yes, it is.
The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've seen on the property?
Yes, it does.
And could you just briefly describe a little bit about what we saw in the photographs? I think we saw a hard water stain. Was that at the front of the property? Did you see that anyplace else?
Just the front of the property.
Okay.
And the reason for my $100 per day is because the original pictures that I started with had huge rugs, toilets, chairs, a whole bunch of stuff. And I was there the day when Public Works actually went through and removed all the heavy lifting stuff. So the only thing that remains is for the homeowner is to basically clean up the trash and cut the grass and finish doing complying the rest of the violation. So all the big stuff has been removed by Public Works.
Okay. And with respect to the fence, can you just describe a little bit about, is it that it's the wooden fence, the white fence?
Right there, yes.
There's missing slats and missing sections?
That's correct.
And is there any other part of the fence or any other fence that were also,
In disrepair, no, just the front right there.
okay. And, is it your testimony that there's no address, numbers on the front or the back?
There are address characters on the front. It's missing from the back, and the code states that once they are used in the alley, they actually need to have the address character on the back as well.
Thank you very much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, and photographs.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents and evidence. The city's composite Exhibit 1. In case CE 2208045, make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of 18106G. Specifically, there's a hard water stand on the front of the property that needs to be either removed or painted over. 18106A, there is trash and debris on the property. 18106B, there is grass and weeds that are exceeding 6 inches in length. 744C5, that there is waste in the property that needs to be removed. 7861 and 7862, the property needs to have proper numbering on both the front and back. And 94302A4, the fence is in disrepair and needs to be repaired. Respondent has 30 days to bring the property in compliance or fine of $100 per day. May issue.
Agenda item number 18, case number is CE 2208098. Case address is 327 Bunker Ranch Road.
Good morning. Richard Pasmino, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. This property was cited on August 4th. Certified mail was sent out August 5th. It was received and signed August 9th. In addition, the property and City Hall were both posted on August 5th. Affidavit of posting is in the file. This property was cited for clean and sanitary conditions, excessive growth, failure to comply violations, landscape areas must be grass, and landscaping of the swale needs to be grass. I have been in contact with Zach Thornberry. He's with the Bellinger Homes LLC. They also have a building case that's running fines. They were trying to do work without permit.
Same property?
Yeah, same property. I explained the violations to him and what needs to be done. As of now, there's no active permits, and it's running a daily fine for that. And there have been no changes at the property. Because of that, the city's asking for 7 days or in order to abate violations 18106A, 18106B, and 18215B, and asking for 30 days or $100 a day for 94442C1 and 94442E.
Thank you. Officer Pasmino, does your affidavit of posting reflect that the notice of violation was also sent by regular mail?
Yes, it does.
The photographs that we've been reviewing, do those photographs truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed on the property?
Yes, they do.
In relation to your request for abatement, do you believe that the alleged violations rise to the level of a health, safety, and welfare violation on the property?
Yes, the overgrowth is, and there's even sand like washing out because of there's no grass, so the sidewalk is a slip hazard. The overgrowth right there on the swale, I'm getting constant complaints. It's just attracting trash. The trash is getting stuck in the overgrown grass.
Constitutes habitat for rodents and other nuisances?
Yes, it does.
Thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, and photographs.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents and evidence as City's Composite Exhibit 1. So there's been no evidence that they're attempting to comply with this?
No, in his emails, he's saying that he wants to pull permits to demolish the property or to work on the property.
But there's no such permits?
Yeah, there's nothing yet. And
how long has this been going on?
I had to reschedule this a while ago, but this case is from August 4th. I think I did cite it previously, same issue.
All right. Case CE 2208098, I make the following findings of fact and law. If I notice is sufficient, Find the property in violation of 18106A, that there is trash and debris on the property, and 18106B, that the grass and weeds exceed 6 inches in length. I make further finding that said violations constitute a threat to the health, safety, and welfare of the city of West Palm Beach. Specifically, they constitute habitat for vermin and also trash. I order the respondent to bring those into compliance within 7 days. In the absence of compliance, I hereby authorize the city to enter the property and abate 18106A and 18106B. I hereby charge the cost of said abatement against the property and property owner. I further find the property is in violation of 94442C1. Specifically, there are areas of dirt that have no proper sod on them, missing grass, and 94442E, specifically that the swale is also missing sod and grass. I give the respondent 30 days to bring those into compliance or fine of up to $100 per day measure.
Agenda item number 19. Case number is CE 220804887. Case address is 529 Independence Road.
Richard Pasmino, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. This property was cited on August 29th. Certified mail was sent out August 30th. In addition, the property and City Hall were both posted on September 1st. Affidavit of posting is in the file. This property was cited for trash and debris, excessive growth, and landscape maintenance. I've had no contact with anyone representing the property. The property is incomplete in compliance. They did the front yard, but right there on the west side, there's still an overgrown hedge that's obstructing part of the sidewalk. And because of that, the city's recommending 14 additional days to comply by cutting the hedge down, cutting any overgrowth, cleaning up any trash and debris, or the city's asking for a $50 a day fine until compliance is achieved.
Thank you, Officer Pasmino. Does your affidavit of posting also reflect that the notice of violation was sent by regular first-class mail?
Yes, it does.
The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately represent and depict the alleged violations that you've observed on the property?
Yes, they do.
Just to clarify, I wasn't quite sure if I understood. Is there still trash and debris on the property?
Yeah, there's like vegetative debris right there on the sidewalk.
Okay. And is there still excessive growth? You talked about the hedge. Is there anything else?
Not at this moment. They did cut it. I would say they could do better, but they did cut the overgrowth.
Okay, thank you very much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, and photographs.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents and evidence of City's Composite Exhibit 1. So there's still trash and debris on the property. The excessive growth is the hedge and
Yeah.
The landscape maintenance. Are you still proceeding under that or not?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of landscape maintenance.
That's really in reference to the hedge again?
Yeah, the hedge. And if you see, the grass is probably almost back to
The grass
being
needs to be cut
overgrown.
again?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing about these things. They come back, right, if you
Yeah.
don't maintain them. All right. In KCE 2208084, sorry, let me say that again. In KCE 220804887, I make the following findings of fact and life. I notice is sufficient to find the property in violation of 18106A. Specifically, there continues to be trash and debris on the property. 18106B, that there's overgrowth on the property, specifically at the hedge, and 944462, the landscape maintenance needs to be done on a regular basis. Respondent has 14 days to bring the property into compliance or fine of $50 per day may issue.
Agenda item number 20, case number is CE 220800508. Case address is 335 Malvern Road, and it's complied. Agenda item number 21, case number is CE 220800577. Case address is 635 Palmetto Street.
Richard Pasmino, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. This property came in through the WPB-TV citizen complaint. This property was cited on September 1st. Certified mail was sent out September 9th. It was signed and received by the principal owner of the LLC, E. Townsend Ventures LLC. In addition, the property and City Hall were both posted on September 1st. The affidavit of posting reflects that notice of violation was sent by regular first-class mail, and the affidavits and the attachments. This property was cited for trash and debris on the property, excessive growth, failure to comply violations, and overgrown grass and weeds. I've had no contact. As of yesterday, the property is still in full violation of all code sections. With that, the city is recommending 7 days to come into compliance, or we're asking for an order to abate the violations due to the possible vermin habitat, and looks like the property's abandoned almost, but there is a car that comes and goes, so someone's living there.
Thank you. Officer Pasmino, the photographs that we've been reviewing, do those photographs truthfully and accurately represent and depict the alleged violations that you've observed on the property?
Yes, they do.
Could you just briefly tell us what you've observed?
Yeah, so it's a corner property. Both sides, there's overgrown grass and weeds visible on the Swale Parkway area and in the yard as well. It's pretty bad. Some of it's growing into the sidewalk, blocking the sidewalk, restricting access.
Thank you. You testified that you believe that the condition of the property is attractive to be a habitat for potential rodents and other varmints. Do you believe that this condition of the property rises to the level of a health, safety, and welfare condition?
Yes, I believe it does.
Okay, thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, and photographs.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents as evidence. The city's composite exhibit 1. Case CE 220805777, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of 18106A. Specifically, there's trash and debris on the property. 18106B, there is a large amount of overgrowth happening on this property, grass and weeds in excess of 6 inches. And 744C3, that the grass and weeds on the property are overgrown and continue to be overgrown. The conditions on the property constitute a threat to the health, safety, and welfare of the city of West Palm Beach. Specifically, they constitute habitat for vermin, overgrowth, and trash. I hereby order the respondent to bring the property into compliance within 7 days. Within the absence of compliance, I authorize the city to enter the property and abate any and all violations. I hereby charge the cost of the abatement against the property and property owner.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 22, case number is CE 22070203. Case address is 1012 13th Street.
Good morning, Officer Underwood, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. Property 1012 13th Street was cited on July 18th. We sent out certified mail August 22nd. It was posted City Hall and the property August 23rd, and certified mail was returned August 24th, 2022. This property was cited for clean and sanitary, excessive growth, and trees obstructing the right-of-way or alleyway. I have not been in contact with the owners of the property, and City of West Palm is asking for 30 additional days or $100 per day till they can come in compliance.
Thank you. Officer Underwood, does your file reflect an executed affidavit of posting?
Yes, it does.
Thank you. Does that affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was also sent by regular first-class mail?
Yes.
And the photographs that we've been reviewing during your testimony, do those photographs truthfully and accurately represent and depict the alleged violations that you've observed on the property?
Yes, they do.
And could you just briefly tell us what it is that you've observed?
It's an empty lot that accumulates trash and debris, as you can see. It's overgrown, It is difficult to walk down the sidewalk, and the main objective was the alleyway in the back, as you can see right there in those pictures. And the one back is overgrown. It's hard to drive a vehicle through there, so it's making it difficult for our sanitation trucks to come through and stuff. So,
Thank you very much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, and photographs.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents as evidence. The city's composite exhibit 1. Case CE 22070203, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient to find the property in violation of 18106A. Specifically, there is trash and debris scattered across the property. 18106B, that there is overgrowth on the property, including grass and weeds exceeding 6 inches in height, and 744C4, that there is vegetation and plant materials that are hanging into the public right-of-way. I order the respondent to bring the property into compliance within 30 days or a fine of $100 per day may issue.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 23, case number is CE 22080283. Case address is 1438 North Mangonia Circle.
Good morning again. Officer Underwood, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. Property address 1438 North Mangonia Circle. This property was cited on August 16th. Certified mail was sent out on August 18th. City Hall and the property was posted August 18th, and it was signed for and returned August 22nd. This property was cited for certificate of use and rental license. I have been in contact with him. I did do a walkthrough of the facility, the property, I should say. He is taking steps to revamp the entire property back to its original single-family ownership, and he's going to need more time to evict residents and return the property back to its original state. So the city's asking for an additional 60 days or 200 a day if it doesn't come into compliance. He is already, I would say, more than halfway completed with removing stuff. The barns and that barn right there and the one on the other side, he's already removed all that, and I think he's halfway there.
Thank you. Officer Underwood, does your file reflect an executed affidavit of posting?
Yes.
And does that affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was also sent by regular first-class mail?
Yes.
Did you talk to the owner, Pablo Lau? Is that
Correct.
what?
Yep.
Okay. And does Mr. Lau deny that he is renting this out?
Yes, he is. I initially went out there to inspect a one-unit rental for his rental license, and when I entered the property, we realized that he had 4 units inside of this dwelling. 4 people renting inside of this. 1 being in the shed, 1 being in the garage, 1 being in the main residence, and 1 being off to the side, it's like split of the main residence on the right-hand side as you're looking in.
Okay. So does he have an application on file at all?
No.
Okay. And are there any other documents in the file? Did you have any other written communication with Mr. Lau?
No, I have not.
Very good. Thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit. Actually, one more question. I don't think I asked about the photographs. Do they truthfully and accurately represent and depict the alleged observations that you've seen on the alleged violations that you've observed on the property?
Yes, they do.
Thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, and photographs.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents as evidence of city's composite exhibit 1. Hearing case CE 22080283, make the following findings of fact and law. Find notice is sufficient to find the property in violation of 2232A and 22441. Respondent has 60 days to come into compliance or fine of $200 per day may issue.
You said 200 a day or 100 a day?
200.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 24, case number is CE 22090002. Case address is 1356 North Mangonia Drive.
Good morning, Officer Underwood, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. Property address 1356 North Mangonia Drive was cited September 1st. We sent certified mail out September 1st. City Hall and the property was posted September 1st. Certified mail was returned on September 9th. I have not been in contact with this owner, and this owner was cited for hat racking, tree abuse, and irreparable violation for cutting a tree down on
What universe is that the proper trimming of a tree?
For cutting a tree down on city property without a permit and without proper pruning it. We're asking for a one-time fine of the city of West Palm Beach is requesting a one-time fine of $250. If you go to the non-complied folder, you can see that he had cut down that branch that the ladder is laying up against. This coincides with the neighbor next door that he also did. There you go. Whoever did this was responsible for the one next door also.
Oh. Thank you. Officer Underwood, does your file reflect, and I apologize if you said it, an executed affidavit of posting?
Yes, it does.
And does that affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was also sent by regular first-class mail.
Yes.
The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed on the property?
Yes, they do.
Thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, and photographs.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents and evidence as City's Composite Exhibit 1. I've seen some hand racking in my day. This is one of the worst examples I've ever seen.
I believe it's 1,000.
Is that tree still alive?
So the reason why the reason why the city asked for 250 is because, again, the neighbor next door did the exact same thing, not as severe. This one is more severe.
Yeah, but this is where the other tree might survive. I don't know about this. This is.
Should I go up? The city would request 500 done. One-time fee of 500 done.
This is bad. Case CE 2209002, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. Find the property in violation of 944462B3 and 944462C3 and 2635B. I'm going to issue a one-time fine of $500 as the damage to the tree is irreparable in nature.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 26, case number is CE 220600238. Case address is 726 49th Street.
City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance, Robert Watkins. This property was cited on June 21st. Certified mail was sent June 22nd. Certified mail was received June 24th. City Hall was posted July the 25th. This property was cited for a rental license, certificate of use, fence permit, garbage can placement, outdoor storage, and unpaved parking. Complied violations as of yesterday were unpaved parking. Still outstanding will be the rental license, certificate of use, fence permit, and garbage can placement. And this, the city is requesting 30 days or $100 per day after. I've had no correspondence with any property owners or managers or anyone besides the tenant. And that was twice when he moved his car off the front grass.
Officer Watkins, does your file reflect an executed affidavit of posting?
Yes, it does.
Does that affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was also sent by regular first-class mail?
Yes, it does.
And was the notice of violation posted at the property?
Yes, it was.
The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed on the property?
Yes.
What can you tell us about confirming that the property is rented?
I spoke to the tenant and asked him to move his car, and he said okay.
Thank you.
And I've also spoke to the property manager before when I cited him for landscape maintenance and grass and all that. I spoke to them as well.
Okay. And for the physical violations that still exist, can you please tell us in a little bit more detail what you observed at the property?
I observed on the computer that there's no rental license or certificate of use for renting out the unit there. Also, that there's no permit for the nice wood fence that was installed, and that the garbage can is also outside on the other side, right next to the washer and dryer and the refrigerator. That's back there, but the garbage can is on the other side.
So the outdoor storage is the washer and dryer on the outside, is that it?
Say again?
What is the outdoor storage?
Oh no, that was, I said the garbage can. See, the garbage can is right there by the fence. I was
Yeah, I see the garbage can.
Yeah.
I'm actually curious about 9471C. What is that?
Yeah, that's a washer. It looks like a dishwasher and a washer. They're right outside along the side of the house. The other item, it almost looks like a freezer, but I couldn't get onto the property actually like that to see what it is, but it's in there in the back just to the left of that white car. That's back.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, and photographs.
Without objection, I'll accept those in evidence of City's Composite Exhibit 1. In case CE 220600238, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. Find the property in violation of 18162A and 2232A. Specifically, the property is being rented without a proper rental license or certificate of use. 7434A1J. Specifically, there is a trash can visible from public right-of-way. 94302A3, there is a fence on the property without a proper fence permit. And 9471C, there is storage of outdoor items, including what appears to be a washer or maybe even a freezer on the outside. Respondent has 30 days to bring the property into compliance or a fine of $100 per day may issue.
Is the violation 18162A now under the 22441?
Yes, that was the old, when I cited it, they hadn't changed the code yet.
Okay, I'll annotate it on the order. Okay, agenda item number 27, case number is CE 22060357. Case address is 644 53rd Street.
City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance, Robert Watkins. This property was cited June 29th. Certified mail was sent June 30th. Certified mail was received July the 5th. City Hall was posted July 25th. This property was cited for unpaved parking and excessive growth. Complied violations as of yesterday are the excessive growth. Remaining is the unpaved parking. The city is requesting 30 days or $100 per day after. And the unpaved parking now is a trailer that's left in the, right there in the rear of the.
Thank you. Officer Watkins, does your file reflect an executed affidavit of posting?
Yes.
And does that affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was sent by regular first-class mail?
Yes, it does.
And was the notice of violation posted at the property?
Yes, it was.
The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately represent and depict the alleged violations that you've observed at the property?
Yes, while I was there.
Okay. And I think I couldn't quite clearly hear it, but was it your testimony that the only remaining off driveway parking is the white trailer?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, and photographs.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents and evidence. The city's composite exhibit 1. In case CE 22060357, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient for the property in violation of 94482A. Specifically, there's a white trailer parked on an unpaved part of the property. Respondent has 30 days to bring the property into compliance or fine of $100 per day may issue.
Agenda item number 28, case number is CE 22070004. Case address is 428 59th Street.
City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance, Robert Watkins. This property was cited July 1st. Certified mail was sent July 1st. Certified mail was received July 5th. City Hall was posted July 25th. This property was cited for overgrowth and sod and landscape areas. Compliant violations are overgrowth. Remaining violation is sod and landscape areas. I have spoken with the property manager on this one. We both come up with additional 30 days or $100 per day after.
Thank you. Officer Watkins, does your file reflect an executed affidavit of posting?
Yes, it does.
And does that affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was also sent by regular first-class mail?
Yes.
Was the notice of violation also posted at the property?
Yes, it was.
The photographs that we've been reviewing during your testimony, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violation that you've observed at the property?
Yes.
With regard to the remaining alleged violation, could you please tell us briefly what you observed?
A lot of dirt. There's absolutely no living anything in the front yard. It's just complete sand.
Thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, and photographs.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents and evidence. The city's composite exhibit 1. So it's just that sod, huh?
Yep, that's all.
All right, in case CE 22070004, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of 94442C1. The open spaces need to be sodded. Respondent has 30 days to bring the property in compliance or a fine of $100 per day may issue.
Agenda item number 29, case number is CE 22070043. Case address is 717 57th Street.
City of West Palm Beach Code, Officer Robert Watkins. This property was cited July 7th. Certified mail was sent July 8th. Certified mail was received July 13th. City Hall was posted July 25th. This property was cited for a repeat violation, maintaining of landscape and excessive growth. Complied violations as of August 29th are the maintaining of landscape and excessive growth and the repeat violation. There are no remaining violations at this time. The repeat was for case CE 21090222, and it was for maintaining of landscape and excessive growth. That was cited September the 20th, 2021. That was complied February the 23rd, 2022. The affidavit of noncompliance was input On November 15th, 2021, it was out of compliance right now for 61 days. The city is requesting $50 per day for every day it was out of compliance, which is a total of 61 days, which is a total of $3,050.
Did you say $3,100?
No, $3,050.
Thank you. Officer Watkins, does your file reflect an executed affidavit of posting?
Yes, it does.
Does that affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was also sent by regular first-class mail?
Yes, it was.
Was the notice of violation posted at the property?
Yes.
The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately represent and depict the alleged violations that you had observed at the property?
Yes.
And I think you said it, but I missed it. What was the first date that you observed these repeat violations?
July the 7th.
Okay. And they came into compliance what date? Or do they still continue?
No, they're into compliance. They came in on August the 29th.
August?
The 29th.
I'm so sorry. Thank you. And was the underlying case also for 18106B and 18106M?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the notice of violation in the current case, the affidavit of posting in the current case, certified mailing documents in the current case, and the photographs in the current case, as well as the underlying case CE 210902222, notice of violation, order, and affidavit of compliance.
Without objection, I'll accept the documents and evidence, the city's composite exhibit 1. In case CE 220700043, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient from the property having been in violation of 18106B and 18106M. I make further finding that said violations constitute a repeat violation according to 2635B of the city code. Hereby assess a fine of the amount of $50 per day for each day that the property remained in repeat violation for a total of 61 days, or a fine of $3,050.
Sorry, 7/7 to 8/29 is 53 days, not 61 days.
That's
Did
53
we do the
days.
math wrong here?
Oh, yeah, my math was off. Didn't know that one.
Is it 53 days?
Yeah, I put it in the date calculator.
Somebody do the math for me. What's $50 at 53 days?
$2,650.
All right, in case CE 220700043, I amend the previous order for a out-of-compliance days of 53 at $50 a day for a total fine of $2,650.
Agenda item number 30, case number is CE 220700214, case address is 618 53rd Street.
City of West Palm Beach Code Officer Robert Watkins. This property was cited July 19th. Certified mail was sent July 19th. Certified mail was returned September the 8th. City Hall was posted July 25th. This property was cited for trash and debris, fence permit, junk abandoned vehicle, outdoor storage and parking requirements. Complied violations as of yesterday are parking requirements, junk abandoned vehicle, and trash and debris. Remaining violations are the outdoor storage and fence permit. And the city's requesting an additional 30 days at $100 per day. Well, when it comes to the fence permit, I see that they did apply for it on June 24th, but there was notations in there that they needed to resubmit the plans.
Thank you, Officer Watkins. Does your file reflect an executed affidavit of posting?
Yes.
Does that affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was also sent by regular first-class mail?
Yes, it does.
Was the property posted?
Yes.
And the photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed at the property?
Yes, it does.
And can you briefly discuss what you observed at the property that is still outstanding?
There's a new fence that's up that wasn't there the last time I sat at the property. A new wooden fence that was installed, and there's also a lot of outdoor storage that's on the west side of the driveway, and right next to the I think it's like a minivan that's parked there. There's just a lot of storage behind the screen door that's laid there, I guess, to cover it.
Thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, and photographs.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents to evidence as city's composite exhibit 1. So that vehicle without the license is your junk or abandoned vehicle?
Yeah, they have a plate in the, they put it in the back window. The gentleman there told me someone took the last one, so they put it in the window now.
So it's in compliance now?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So we're still waiting on that fence permit, you said?
Yeah, fence permit and the outdoor storage.
Everything else is good?
Yes.
All right, case CE 22070214, make the following findings of fact on live notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of 94302A3, property requires a fence permit, and 9471C, which is outdoor storage that occurring on the property. Respondent has 30 days to bring the property in compliance or fine of $100 per day may issue.
Agenda item number 31, case number is CE 220702330, case address is 615 50th Street.
City of West Palm Beach Code Officer Robert Watkins. This property was cited July 20th. Certified mail was sent July 21st. Certified mail was received July 23rd. City Hall was posted July 25th. This property was cited for outdoor storage. Remaining violation is outdoor storage. The city is requesting 15 days or $50 per day after. I spoke to the homeowner this morning that stated that she would have it removed in a few days, but that's as far as that goes.
That's a lot of outdoor storage.
Yeah, she covered it as of yesterday, but it's still there.
Thank you, Officer Watkins. Does your file reflect an executed affidavit of posting?
Yes.
Does that affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was also sent by regular first-class mail?
Yes.
And was the property posted with the notice of violation?
Yes, it was.
The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed on the property?
Yes, it does.
And can you just take a moment and tell us what you observed?
Outdoor storage, boxes, shelves, buckets, whatever you could possibly put outside under the carport.
And is this outdoor storage, we're viewing that under the carport, or are there any other areas that you observed with outdoor storage, or is it just the carport?
No, just the carport.
Thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the notice of violation, certified mailing documents, affidavit of posting, and photographs. And Officer Watkins, I don't know if I missed it, but how many days and what daily fine?
15 days and $50 per day after.
Thank you.
All right, without objection, I'll accept those documents as evidence of city's composite exhibit 1 in case CE 220700230. I make the following findings of fact on the law. If I notice is sufficient, I find the property in violation of 9471C. Specifically, there are outdoor storage in the carport consisting of boxes, buckets, furniture. Respondent has 15 days to remove it or a fine of up to $50 per day may issue.
Agenda item number 34, case number is CE 220800197. Case address is 1009 Green Pine Boulevard, Unit G3.
Good morning, City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance Officer Paul McFarland. On August 10th, the property at 1009 Green Pine Boulevard, Unit G3, was cited for rental license violation and certificate of use. The property, as well as City Hall, was posted September 8th. Affidavit of posting is in my case notes. Certified mail as well as regular mail was mailed August 11th. Certified mail was returned. I did confirm with management that the property is indeed being rented. I've had no contact with the property owner. With that being said, city is recommending 30 days to come into compliance or $200 a day until compliance is achieved.
Thank you. Officer McFarland, the photograph that we reviewed, does that truthfully and accurately represent the posting that was made on the property at issue?
Yes, ma'am.
And I believe that we kind of reviewed very briefly as well on the screen. Did you send, along with the notice of violation, a blank application to fill out or other documentation?
Yes, ma'am.
And I believe there may have been at least one email. Is there other written communication?
That was the email with the property management to confirm occupancy of the unit.
Thank you. And then I see a Sunbiz printout. Did you utilize that for your mailing?
Yep, that was a part of the mailing with the attached ownership from Papa.
And then I think we also saw the Papa property appraiser printout as well. Is that accurate?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and all written communications, Sunbiz printout, property appraiser printout, emails, and documents.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents and evidence. The city's composite exhibit 1 in case CE 220800197. I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. Find the property in violation of 2232A and 22441. Specifically, it's being rented without either rental license or certificate of use. Respondent has 30 days to come to compliance or fine of $200 per day measure.
Agenda item number 35, case number is CE 220800216. Case address is 1009 Green Pine Boulevard, Unit H3.
Good morning, City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance Officer Paul McFarland. On August 10th, the property at 1009 Green Pine Boulevard, Unit H3, was cited for rental license violation and certificate of use. The property, as well as City Hall, was posted September 8th. Affidavit of posting is attached to my case notes. Certified mail as well as regular mail was sent August 12th. Certified mail was received August 17th. I've had no correspondence with this property owner. I did confirm with property management that the unit is indeed being rented. With that being said, the city is recommending 30 days to come into compliance, or $200 a day be assessed until compliance is achieved.
Thank you. Officer McFarland, I may have missed it, but is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. The photographs that we've been reviewing, do those truthfully and accurately represent the property in question that was posted?
Yes, ma'am.
And in addition, are there property documents of the property appraiser printout and Sunbiz printout with respect to your mailing?
Yes, ma'am.
And is there a blank application that you provided either by email or with the notice of violation to the property owner?
Yes, ma'am.
And are there any other documents in the file regarding written communications?
Written communication with the property management to confirm rental. That's what I sent to the property manager, and she did right on to confirm.
Thank you very much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, as well as emails and other written communications, Sunbiz printout, property appraiser printout. Thank you.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents and evidence. The city's composite exhibit 1, case CE 220800216, and make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of 22441, 2232A, specifically renting a property without a proper rental license or certificate of use. Respondent has 30 days to come to compliance or fine of $200 per day may issue.
Agenda item number 36, case number is CE 220800219. Case address is 1004 Green Pine Boulevard, Unit D2.
Good morning, City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance Officer Paul McFarland. On August 10th, the property at 1004 Green Pine Boulevard, Unit D2, was cited for rental license violation and certificate of use. The property, as well as City Hall, was posted September 8th. I do have a copy of the affidavit of posting attached to my case notes. Certified mail as well as regular mail was sent out August 11th. Upon checking our system yesterday, I did not see a confirmation of the certified mail being signed for or returned. I did confirm with management that the unit is indeed being rented. With that being said, the city is recommending 30 days to come into compliance or $200 a day until compliance is achieved.
Thank you, Officer McFarland. The photographs that we've been reviewing, do those truthfully and accurately represent the property at issue right now that was posted?
Yes, ma'am.
As well, is there documentary evidence in your file to reflect that a blank rental application was provided to this property owner?
Yes, ma'am.
And is there a property appraiser's printout that assisted you with respect to mailing?
Yes, ma'am.
And is there a Sunbiz printout here too?
I hope she attached it, because it should be there.
Okay. And you have documentation, that documentation we just looked at was the confirmation that it is being rented?
Yes, ma'am.
Accurate? Okay, thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, the pop-up property appraiser printout, written communications, including but not limited to emails, confirmation that the property is rented, and the blank rental application provided to the property owner. Thank you.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents and evidence. The city's composite exhibit 1. So you sent the certified mail, and you have an affidavit to that effect. You just haven't received information back.
Right, I haven't received the confirmation as of yet.
All right, in case CE 220802219, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient to find the property in violation of 2232A and 22441. Specifically, this is a rental property without a certificate of use or a rental license. Respondent has 30 days to bring the property into compliance, or a fine of $200 per day may issue.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 37, case number is CE 220802221. Case address is 1010 Green Pine Boulevard, Unit F2, and it's complied. Agenda item number 38, case number is CE 220803321. Case address is 6162 Eaton Street, and it's complied.
All right, we're going to take a brief recess till 11:30 for the other matters agenda. So we are in recess. All right, I'm going to call this back into session. This is the Code Enforcement Special Magistrate hearing for the City of West Palm Beach. This is the Other Matters agenda, which begins at 11:30, so we're a few minutes behind schedule. If you were not here this morning to be sworn in and you are going to testify, or you think you might testify, or there's a possibility that you might testify, would you please rise and raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be truthful and accurate under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of Florida? Yes. Please be seated. This is the Other Matters agenda. Almost all of these cases, I believe, are your petitions to reduce for reduction of fine. The way this will proceed is the city will call the case, and you can go ahead and proceed to the podium on my right-hand side. The city will present the case, and then you'll have the opportunity to ask me for what you would like to ask me for. Before you get up here, it's probably a good idea to think about what you want to ask me for. I can't grant something if you don't ask me. So if you come up here and you just say, tell me all about your case, but you don't ask me for something, that's not terribly helpful. So you have to ask me specifically what it is, what the relief is that you would like to grant, and why I should grant that to you. That's a good way to think about it before you come up here. Other than that, I will allow the and I should add, as is important, the City of West Palm Beach has a very specific code section dedicated to this particular procedure, Section 2639, which gives me the standards by which I would or would not reduce fines. Hopefully you've had a chance to review that before you came up here. All right, go ahead. Yeah.
Agenda item number 1, case number is CE 04100433. Case address is 518 42nd Street.
I can't see. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't see. It's kind of dark. Cassandra St. Hilaire, Code Enforcement Officer with the City of West Palm Beach. Case CE 04100433 was cited on October 27, 2004 for safe egress, failure to provide window screens, repairing of roof walls and foundation as a public nuisance, landscape maintenance, and swell maintenance. On January 5, 2005, the Special Magistrate gave the property an additional 15 days to secure the property or $500 a day to achieve compliance. The property failed to comply with the magistrate's order and was out of compliance for 137 days, resulting in a lien amount of $68,500. The applicant is the cause of the violation. The city is seeking 25%.
Sir, can you tell me your name, please?
I shall. My name is Bill Jacobson. I'm a lawyer here in West Palm Beach. My address is 105 South Narcissus Avenue, Suite 200, and I have a co-counsel here with me today, Elaine Johnson-James. She's already been sworn in and will be briefly testifying. First of all, I'd like to thank the inspector and the city attorney's office for working with us to try to straighten out some of the issues related to this application. It's a little bit confusing because of some public record things, but we've gotten it all straightened out and we're prepared to move forward today. I represent Pastor Roxana Poveda Mendoza, who's a personal representative of the estate of Pastor Gallo Poveda, who is her late father. Pastor Mendoza was named the personal representative of the estate exactly 1 year ago today, September 21st, 2021, in renewed letters of administration. And I submitted a copy of the letters of administration to the city with the application. Whether it's relevant or not a problem. We're here before you today to seek a reduction in the fine that was assessed against her late father in 2004, or approximately 18 years ago. Pastor Mendoza is unable to appear here today because her uncle was unfortunately killed last week in Ecuador, and she and her family have gone down for the funeral. Ms. James is here with me today. We'll be able, on personal knowledge, be able to fill in some of the issues related to this matter. Other than the direct knowledge that she has and will be able to impart, we have very little personal knowledge, nor does my client have much personal knowledge of the facts surrounding the fine that was levied against a home owned by her father. Actually, it wasn't their home, it was a house, an investment house. We don't have any pictures. We're not asking for any plan approval. We're not asking for any time to fix anything related to the house. because the house was sold some time ago and it has been knocked down. We are here today specifically to seek a reduction in the fine that the city levied many years ago. Pastor Poveda Mendoza, I'm going to just call her Pastor Mendoza if you don't mind,
That's
has asked us to appear before you today to seek a reduction in the fine because she has entered into a contract to sell the property to an entity called Crystal 531 LLC, which is a group that is based in Boca, and they're acquiring many properties around the city. A warranty deed from Pastor Mendoza was executed on April 11th, 2021, approximately 18 months ago, to Crystal, but the proceeds remain in escrow. No title insurance has or can be issued until the matter is settled with the city. So the facts as we have been able to reconstruct them are as follows. A warranty deed shows that Pastor Poveda, the decedent, purchased the property on January 1st, 1994 as an investment property. In 2004, the city cited Pastor Poveda for an order to board and secure the building that was on the property at that point. The case was opened, you have the case number, or maybe you don't, but it was CE 04100433, and it eventually brought Pastor Poveda before the special magistrate. According to the order of the special magistrate, Pastor Poveda did not timely correct the violation for board and secure, or at least we're not sure if he tried to and succeeded in some of the repairs, some of the compliance, but an order was entered against him assessing a very substantial fine of $500 a day. That fine, as the inspector has indicated, ran for 137 days and reached $68,500. It appears that he complied with a portion of this, and I'm going to ask my co-counsel to come up because Ms. James has more personal knowledge because she represents another member of the family. So if you bear with us for a second.
Good morning, Elaine Johnson James. I'm an attorney here in West Palm Beach. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak about the Poveda family. So Pastor Gallo is what I call the deceased. I've represented Pastor Gallo and his church, the Iglesia del Nazareno Belin Church at 5312 Broadway, for 7 years. And right before Pastor Poveda died, in the third Saturday in April of 2020, he died. He went to Ecuador on a mission trip, contracted COVID, and sadly died. So right before he got sick, he and his son, Gallo Jr., and I had a meeting about a number of things, administrative things that we needed to clean up, as well as the lawsuit that I was handling for him. And this lien was one of the things that they mentioned, and they talked between themselves about the fact that Dad, Pastor Gallo, had complied with the lien but hadn't timely notified the city to come out. Had complied with the order, but hadn't timely notified the city to come out and inspect, and so the lien ran longer than it necessarily should have. I don't want the city to have the perspective that Pastor Gallo was like some kind of gadfly that didn't follow orders or anything like that. Nothing could be further from the truth. His church and the parent church to which it belonged bought a kind of rundown building at the corner of 53rd and Broadway from Planned Parenthood, and it needed a lot of work, which the church could not afford to do. Court enforcement liens ran on it, and he very diligently got the parent church to deed it to the baby church so that they could borrow money and refurbish it, and it has since 2007 just been like a beacon on that corner. I mean, if you literally could eat off of the surface of the parking lot. It's that clean and that neat. So, certainly discredit him for not timely notifying him, but don't think, please, that he did not obey the order. And I'm going to be careful because I'm under oath, but my recollection is that he missed the second hearing where the fine was assessed. I'm pretty sure he was there the first time, but I recall them saying that he was, in missions or something and out of the country and did not get the order about citing them, with the fine and everything timely. So that contributed to the delay as well. That's my best recollection. Okay? Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Okay, so back to where we are here. The pastor passed away on April 24th in 2020, and my client, Pastor Mendoza, was named as the personal representative. The vacant property was sold a year after the death in April 21 for $75,000 to Crystal. The title search showed that the lien was placed on the property, and it was determined during the course of this sale transaction by attorney Charles Butler, who was the lawyer who closed the transaction. And the buyers would not allow a title policy to be issued because of the existence of the lien on the property. This was the height of the pandemic. And unfortunately, Mr. Butler, lawyer, friend, contracted COVID and passed away. His wife, who was also sick with COVID, survived and took the responsibility to move his files to another lawyer who will now, at this point, be responsible for issuing a title policy once we can unscramble this egg, if possible. Since the date of the sale, both Pastor Mendoza and her mother have contracted COVID, but they have been survivors, and we're all happy to report that. The focus on us being here is obviously to apply to the city for a reduction in the fine. And if you measure these numbers against each other, her father bought this property for $75,000 as an investment for his family, did what he could to clean up the house. House was sold. House was knocked down, property's vacant, so there hasn't been a violation on this property for years and years. So given the passage of time since late 2004, unfortunately, as we said earlier, Pastor Mendoza has minimal personal knowledge about the situation or the finances of her father. What we're trying to do is to avoid the burden of a $68,500 fine against a $75,000 property and leave something for the decedents. This was not the homestead of the people, of the deceased or his wife. It was an investment property. We hope that the city is going to allow there to be some money to pass down to the heirs of the decedent. We understand that the city has some expenses associated with the inspections and with reviewing the application, working with the city attorney. We respect all of those things. But based on all of the facts which I've stated here today, we're asking the city, if a fine has to be levied, that it should not exceed $2,500 to cover the expenses of this application and to allow the balance to go to the heirs of the decedent. If we have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
So let me see if I understand correctly. The city has offered to reduce it from $68,500 to $17,125, and you're asking me to reduce it to $2,500 max.
I am, Your Honor.
If I understand that correctly. How would the city respond to the request?
We'll let you make the decision, Magistrate.
Now, I'm curious about the city's response to respondent's presentation.
Everything he stated was facts that the property, they did try to comply, but it was after the magistrate's order. They were in contact with former code supervisor Robert Creston, and he made several notations during the case where he did speak to Mr. Poveda, just highlighting what needs to be done. They even spoke with an engineer at one point that even gave directions of items that need to be corrected. But unfortunately, there was a hurricane that happened roughly in 2005 that I believe destroyed the property, where that's what led to the full demo of the property as well. So everything they stated were facts, but as far as what we're reducing it to, we'll let you decide on that matter.
What more could be worse than all the things that we've listed on this property?
There's something I should have said.
All right, can I ask
May I tell you one more thing? I'm so sorry, I forgot to tell you this. So what I didn't mention is that Pastor Paveda's surviving spouse, Laura Paveda, is advanced age. She's like 70 years old. She has been a stay-at-home wife her whole life. And this investment property is, you know, a substantial part of the estate that Pastor Paveda was able to leave to take care of her in her old age. And so to the extent that there could be a further reduction to increase the sums that would be available for her, that would be appreciated as well. And I forgot to mention that. Thank you.
Okay, so so the city offered 17, and you asked for 2,500. I mean, part of the balance that I have to do here is remember, you know, this is a public hearing, so I want people who are watching this hearing not to think that, yeah, I know it's hard with the glass, isn't it? Yeah. Part of the challenge for me is to make sure that I don't suggest to people that fines that are assessed against their property are of no value. You can just come back and we'll reduce them later so you don't have to comply, because the importance is compliance, right? But this is what I am willing to do. The city offered 25%. I'll reduce it down to 10%, which is $6,850. And I can give you a time frame to pay that. Just let me know how much time you need.
As soon as we break escrow, 30 days.
All right, 30 days. So 6,850, 30 days.
Thank you.
Agenda items number 2 and 3, same address. Case numbers are CE 06080824 and CE 07060560. Case address is 2022 North Dixie Highway.
Cassandra St. Hilaire, Code Enforcement Officer with the City of West Palm Beach. Case CE 06080824 was cited on August 21st, 2006. The property was cited for trash and debris, hurricane hazards, and an overgrown lot. On October 27th, the magistrate gave the property an additional 10 days or $100 a day to achieve compliance. The property was out of compliance for 91 days, resulting in a lien amount of $9,100. The same owner, city is seeking 25%. Case CE 07060560 was cited on June 13, 2007. Property was cited for a failure to obtain a building permit and the required inspections. On August 10, 2007, the magistrate gave the property an additional 90 days or $100 a day to achieve compliance. The property was out of compliance for 229 days, resulting in a lien amount of $22,900. Again, same owner, the city is seeking 25%.
Morning, Judge.
Good morning. Can you tell me your name, please?
Sure. My name is Judd Rowe, and I'm an attorney in West Palm Beach, Florida, and I represent Kathy Chevelle, who is the sole member of 2022 North Dixie Highway. So I represent the owner of the property. And I will try to keep this short, sir. So going back 2006, 2007, the prior owner of the property was Wade Chevelle. Mr. Chevelle, I think he tried to work things out with the city. It took some time to get these violations worked out. For whatever reason, these orders were entered imposing fines, and he just didn't pay them. I can't explain why. This was not a financial issue where he just didn't have the means to pay. He didn't pay. Fast forward to 2012, unfortunately, Mr. Chevelle passed away. I am representing his sister, Kathy Chevelle, the personal representative of his estate. His estate was a mess. It took us 7 years to get through his estate. Part of my client, Kathy Chevelle's inheritance, was the property at 2022 North Dixie. I started having some issues with the city in 2021, recently, about a year ago, with some debris on the property. Unfortunately, we had some homeless folks that were attempting to live on the property. I spoke with the city. They understood there are issues with that particular section of West Palm Beach. We just could not stop the debris from being left on the property. I spoke with my client. She said, look, let's get a fence put up. We want to preserve the property. We understand from an aesthetic standpoint, it's not pretty to see garbage on it. We contacted a fence contractor. He went to pull a permit with the city of West Palm Beach, and that is when we discovered, that is when my client discovered these liens from 2006 and 2007. My client is also legally blind, so she really does depend upon me to help her. This was the first time that I became aware of this. The property is not for sale. We're not looking to sell it. Again, in the course of getting a fence permit, this came up. I reached out to the city. I immediately filed the motion for lien reduction. There was no delay in filing this motion. We've been waiting for about a year to a year and a half to get in front of Your Honor. What I can tell Your Honor is, in addition to having a survey done and having a fence put up, which has certainly helped with the garbage on the property, we really don't have debris on the property anymore, and we certainly do not have folks on the property, and it's a sad situation, but I'm sure everyone's aware we have a homeless situation in West Palm Beach, and we have folks that just don't have anywhere to go. We don't have that issue on the property anymore, so we have taken steps to try to at least aesthetically make this property pleasing. It is vacant land, and so today what I'm asking for, and I included this in my motion for lien reduction, we are asking for Your Honor to impose 10% of the outstanding lien, which right now is $32,000. I'm going to go out on a limb and ask for Your Honor to do a little something more. Since discovering the existence of these fines, the $32,000, again, we have expended, my client has expended costs, and I have copies of the dollars that have been spent, and I'm happy to provide that to Your Honor. The total amount that has been spent is $4,550, and the breakdown is a survey, the permit for the fence, the materials, and the labor, $4,550. And again, I would assert that that was done to avoid a situation where the city has to keep coming out, assessing fines. It doesn't look good for people driving by to see garbage on the property. So that's important to me, and it's important to my client. So what I am asking today is that the $32,000 lien be reduced by the $4,550 in costs, getting us down to $27,450, and I would ask for a fine to be imposed at the rate of 10%, which would be $2,745, respectfully.
City's response?
No, we're good. All right, originally the city with the $32,000 lien, we originally were asking for almost $8,000. We're willing to negotiate down to $5,000.
Mr. Rowe?
I certainly appreciate the city's willingness to adjust. Again, I think that in this particular case, I think, you know, the 10%, the $3,200, I think is fair. I think that that is reasonable, given no knowledge and also the owner's efforts to try to cure this as soon as she became aware of it. You know, look, if Your Honor is not willing to make an adjustment based upon the costs that were expended, I can live with that, but I'm hoping for a worst case scenario of $3,200, which would be 10% of the current lien. And I thank you for your time.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I'm not really that inclined to use an offset here, primarily because it's your client's responsibility to maintain their property, and that doesn't get you an extra bonus. With that said, I'll reduce it to $3,500, payable within 60 days.
Thank you very much.
Sorry?
For both?
Oh, yeah, I got to do it right. Let's reduce. So you got to make it complicated for me here, right? Let's reduce. The first case, we'll reduce that to $500, and we'll reduce the other one to 3,000. There you go.
60 days, correct?
Thank you for your time, sir.
60
Yep.
days? Okay.
And thank the city. Yes, please, thank you.
I did.
Okay. Agenda items number 4, 5, 6, and 7, all the same address. Case numbers are CE 07-101-253, CE 09-03-0289, CE 1109-0192, and CE 1401-0522. Same address, 3805 South Olive Avenue.
Kristen, I believe 259 Pilgrim as well.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. And that is agenda item number 11, I think, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then also including agenda item number 11, case number is CE 21070158. This is a different address, 259 Pilgrim Road. I don't know if you want to call them together or separate.
Okay. Bear with me, special magistrates, it's a lot. All right.
Okay.
Case CE 7101-253 was cited on October 31st, 2007 for failure to provide window screens, repairing of interior walls and floors, external doors and windows, rental license, certificate of use as a public nuisance, overgrown lot, trimming of the trees and hedges, and the right-of-way. On January 11, 2008, the magistrate ordered 10 days or $150 a day for code sections 18123, 18113C, 18162A, and 2232A, and abatement for all the other violations. The property was out of compliance for 1,331 days, resulting in a lien amount of $199,650. Case CE 09030289 was cited on March 13, 2009. Property was cited for clean and sanitary landscape maintenance and as a repeat violation. On May 6, 2009, the magistrate ordered an immediate fine from March 4, 2009 to April 14, 2009, resulting in a lien amount of $4,100. Case CE 11090192 was cited on September 14, 2011. The property was cited for a boarding of windows and doors, boarding certificate, and as a repeat violation. On November 16, 2011, the magistrate ordered an immediate fine for $75 per day from September 13, 2011 through October 18, 2011, and 30 days or $100 a day for the boarding certificate violation. The repeat violation resulted in a lien amount of $2,625, and for code section 18265, the boarding certificate, they were out of compliance for 1,381 days, resulting in a lien amount of $138,100. Case CE 15030455 was cited on January 27, 2014. Property was cited for failure to obtain a rental license, certificate of use. On March 26, 2014, the magistrate ordered 15 days or $50 a day to comply. The property was out of compliance for 535 days, resulting in a lien amount of $26,750. As you can see, for properties 3805 South Olive, there has been numerous violations on this property. Even though the applicant are the new owners, the city is seeking 25% in total. And for case CE 21070158 was cited on July 14, 2021. The property was cited for landscape of the area, the location of artificial turf, and putting down artificial turf. On November 3rd, 2021, the magistrate gave the property an additional 60 days or $150 a day to achieve compliance. The property was out of compliance for 37 days, resulting in a lien amount of $5,550. This property, they were same owner. City is also seeking 25%. You want me to run it back, or?
Sorry, I'm just doing the math.
Okay. Let me bring you the forms.
So the city is seeking in the first group of cases associated with 3805 South Olive Avenue, $92,806.25. All right, can you tell me your names, please?
Sure. Carrie Colangelo.
Felicio Fantone.
So tell me what you're asking for and why I should grant it to you.
The property was purchased in 2014 from us. Previously was a foreclosure, so a bank had it during that time. I did write a letter and submit it with our request for a lien reduction. Basically just saying that when we purchased the property, there was a mention of the liens on the property. The other owner at the time had come to the city to speak with them, and they said it was first of all, it was abandoned and homeless people and animals living inside of it. So at the time, code inspector that was there that the previous owner, Danilo Alcantara, spoke to, said that, listen, they said, we're renovating the entire thing. It's all gonna go. We do have a picture on the phone of the before and after of the property. So with that said, the code enforcement officer said, no problem, since you're tearing the whole thing apart and putting it back together. With that said, we didn't know any of these liens existed until the one on Pilgrim with the grass. So unfortunately, he did flip the grass back from the turf back to the regular, but didn't call, it's kind of unknowing the process, but didn't call to have it checked. So what we're asking for is we asked for a lien reduction for everything going on, just based on just you being kind. We did put down $2,500 per incident, which would have been a $10,000 fine, and we're hoping that that could be included with the Pilgrim property as well.
That's a big ask, considering I think the total fine amount is what?
For 3805 South Olive, in total, the property owes $371,225, and then you add the, $5,550 from the Pilgrim property. That's exceeding even $40,000. And as she mentioned, we understand that they may not have been the cause of the violations for 3805 South Olive, but on the application, it was stated that you guys purchased this property through auction. And Special Magistrate, what we don't want to do...
No, we didn't buy it through, it wasn't bought through auction. It was a foreclosure, but it was bought on a regular.
Oh, okay, on the application it stated otherwise, but, I mean, the point still stands. We don't want to set a precedence of allowing, people to come in the city, developers, investors to come and just purchase properties just to get a low lien reduction without really, doing the work. Obviously the city do want these properties fixed up and, it goes with the aesthetic of city policy, but at the same time, to $10,000 from almost over $40,000, I think that's really lowballing.
I mean, I did invest about $350,000 in redoing this property.
I understand, but that's the choice you made with purchasing a property.
I found all this out. I'm just letting you know.
But as you stated, from the before and after pictures, you can tell that the property needed all these numerous amount of work, and you knew that as an investor, you would have to put in a lot of money into it. That's not on the city. That is a personal choice made by yourself.
Right.
The city should not be, we should not be held accountable for the money that they choose to spend on an investment property, which it is beautiful now, by the way, and I'm sure once you start to rent it out and follow the process, you will make some of that money back. But again, that's the risk that you take in investing in these type of properties.
Right. So when we purchased it in 2014, we weren't aware of everything until after we purchased it, right? And we immediately started on, at that point, we bought it in November of 2014. By February of 2015, so in 4 months, we were able to put together blueprints and file for the notice of commencement, get the blueprints all submitted for permit, and immediately started working on it upon receiving the permit in September of 15. We flipped that thing around in 6 months by, and when we got our final inspection of March of 16, we had already applied for the business tax receipt in a month prior to that. And then we paid all the tax receipts from there moving forward. So we're just asking for a reduction in that. We invested a lot of money into this property to make it look really nice. Unfortunately, had to absorb what the bank and the previous people had neglected, but we immediately got on task of remodeling that building. It wasn't like we bought it and sat on it for 6 months. I mean, you can see it. You know how long it takes, I'm sure, being in this business, just to get blueprints drawn and file for permitting and wait for everything to happen. So we were in the works of ordering materials and getting it up and running ASAP. So unfortunately, I would think that just by absorbing the property in 14 and filing for the notice of commencement in 15, it was already starting to get cleaned up, just by default of having to pull the glass out of the window or the wood out of the windows and ordering new windows, but you got to keep it secure during that time because, like I said, there was no one living in the unit. Or units, they were completely abandoned, and so we had to protect them from liability issues of homeless people and more damage done by rodents, which is always a terrible problem. So that's why we are asking for a reduction. We did go all out on this property and make it look beautiful.
I think we're all generally in agreement that a reduction is warranted in this case. The question before us is really the amount of the reduction. I respect that you redeveloped this property, and I also, take into account that you've made this a contributing property to the city. I also have to weigh, though, the importance of making sure that anyone in this city understands that the easy way out of code enforcement isn't just to, flip the property to somebody else or just leave it and abandon it and hope that somebody else will take care of it later for them. And because that gives people the impression that the code doesn't really matter, and that's bad for you too, especially when you're developing properties in the city.
Right.
So, so it is a bit of a balance for me, especially when the amount of the fine is this. I mean, I see a lot of fine reductions. I don't see a lot of fine reductions from, almost $371,000, which is really a.
Did I add wrong? Because I only came up with 233. I probably added wrong.
Yeah, maybe. But I did want to interject and say, Magistrate, you also have to look at the fact that for 3805 South Olive, many of these violations, they were repeat violations. So, again, we understand that they purchased the property like that, but the city spent a lot of resources having to go back to this property, ensure that it was cleaned up. So just want to give you that point when you're making your ruling.
Right. It's just too bad that it was all done prior to us even owning it and then addressing it immediately once it was purchased with speaking to, did you get a copy of my?
Yes, I did. I read it. Yes.
So that the gentleman, John Murphy, who said, oh, good, yeah, that's great, it's all done. As soon as you start tearing it up, those will all go away. And then that's not really the case. And then we thought it was all gone away. It wasn't until the Pilgrim that we went, oh my God, that's crazy.
All right, so if I did my math correctly here, the city's offered to reduce it from $371,225 to $92,806, which is a 75% reduction.
Sure.
And you've asked me to reduce it to $2,500 per case, which would be $10K, which would be $371 to $10. That's not an easy, that is a big distance between the two of you. I mean, which, I guess at the end of the day, it's my job to settle it, but, well, let me come back to you. I'm not going to reduce it to $10K. You have to give me a more reasonable number.
Okay. Are we including Pilgrim in this? Or
No, I'm just dealing with the 3805 South Olive.
I said 15, but, okay. 20,000, and we can include the Pilgrim property?
Just a second. All right, Magistrate. So the city wants to counter with, we'll accept the 20,000 for the 3805 South Olive property, but we'll consider, for the 259 Pilgrim, instead of the 25%, we'll seek 20%, which is $1,100, roughly $1,100.
Okay.
I'm gonna say something that I usually don't honestly hear. That's better than I was gonna do. So if I were you, I would take it.
I said thank you. I gave her the thank you.
All right, so there are 4 cases under
Yep.
3805 Olive, and the city offered, I guess the agreement was 20, so that'd be 5 per case, right? 5 times 4 is 20.
Is it 1, 2, 3?
Yeah, look at that math. And then we'll reduce the case number 11 to $1,100. How much time do you guys need?
We can pay Pilgrim right now, and then can we have the next 6 months to pay the other?
I'll give you 30 days for Olive, and I'll give you 60 days on the,
No, you have it backwards.
I'm sorry, did I get it backwards?
Yeah, 30 days for Pilgrim and 6 months for Olive, right?
Okay. Yep.
And Special Magistrate, did you say 5,000 on each one on Olive? Because number,
Did I do it backwards?
well, number 5 on the docket of other matters is only 4,100 in
Yeah,
total.
4,100.
Oh, that is a problem. All right, hold on a sec. We got to redo our math here. All right, why don't we do, let's do it this way. We'll do, so there's 4 cases, right? So let's do 17 on 4, because that's the big one. And we'll do 1,000 on the rest. That gets me to 20, right?
Okay.
And then split that other one 500, 500. All right, so we'll do 17 on 4. And then we'll do 1,000 on the rest, and on the split order, we'll do 500, 500. Does that work?
17 on 4, 1,000, 1,000, and then the split is 500, 500, which makes a total of 3,000, which makes a total of 20.
You got it? You guys are nothing but a challenge today.
Oh, they still didn't
All right, we got it.
What number are you?
Let me check with the city attorney. Does that math work?
Yes, sir, it does.
All right,
Thank you.
done.
Thank you.
Moving on to agenda items number 8 and 9, same address. The case numbers are CE 15030455. Case address is 627 47th Street, and the other case number is CE 20070341. I think they're also here for numbers 15, 16, and 17,
Yes.
but they're all 3 3 different addresses, so I don't know if you want to call
All right,
those
so let's just do them
separate.
one at a time. Sure. Let's do them by address.
Okay, so numbers 8 and 9 then.
My name is Khaled Hamed. I'm the owner of the property.
Hold on one sec. Let me let the city introduce the case, and then you can tell me what you want me to know.
Well, when we purchased this property,
Hold
it
on,
was
Hold on one sec. Let me let the city introduce the case.
Me first. Okay, so we're going to start with 627 47th, and then we'll hear the other properties, correct?
Yep.
Okay. 8 and 9.
8 and 9.
All right, thank you. All right. So, case CE 1503-0455 was cited on March 19, 2015 for multiple violations such as clean and sanitary, foundation repair, landscape maintenance, overgrowth, securing a vacant property, etc. On May 20th, 2015, the magistrate ordered an immediate abatement in fees on code sections 1816A, 1816B, 18214B, and 78, what's that other one? 7894-6, sorry, I can't see. Thank you. And 30 days, $100 per day to comply with the other violations. The property was out of compliance for 2,300 days, resulting in a lien amount of $230,000. Case CE 200-70341 was cited on April 22nd, 2020 for failure to register as a vacant property and the sign requirements. On August 19, 2020, the magistrate ordered 10 days or $25 a day until compliance. The property was out of compliance for 31 days, resulting in a lien amount of $775. At this time, magistrate, the city's not asking for a reduction on CE 200-70341, but being that this is a new owner for CE 1503-0455, the city is seeking 25%.
Okay, sir. Now's your turn.
Sure. My name is Khaled Hamed. I want to thank everyone. It was a journey to get here for my 3 properties. Anyway, we purchased this property and it wasn't wanted because there was people living in the property and it was overgrown and it was just a lot. So we did everything code enforcement asked us to do. We even fenced it, we cleaned it, and we just put a new dwelling in there. And we found out that there was a $230,000 lien on it on a vacant lot. The property owner before used to live in Finland. So he never used to get his mail or whatever. So case short, I inherited the whole liens, and I'm here to get a lien reduction on this property. We put the sign,
let me see if I understand this correctly. This is a vacant lot?
627-47?
Yes, it was a vacant lot. This $230,000 was as a vacant lot.
It was a vacant lot. Like I stated, he is the new owner for this property. He did redevelop it. I believe we have the pictures.
I have pictures on how it used to be and that people live in there. And
So how is there a citation for walls and foundation on a vacant lot? I'm confused.
It wasn't a vacant lot when it was initially cited back in 2015. The first violation was in 2015. The second violation was 2020.
So there
They
originally was a
demoed-
structure on this property,
There was a
obviously in
structure.
poor condition, I
Yeah.
guess, just by the code sections at issue here. And a lot of other things that went wrong with this property, I guess. So the previous owner was the one responsible for that
Yes, sir.
$230,000? And so how did you arrive at getting the property, sir?
Excuse me?
So how did you end up the owner of the property?
I'll purchase it on the title company, and when I purchase it through a title, I never seen that. I'll probably sign in something that it says, I went back to them and I said, look, this is what you guys missed. It says, no, you sign a harmless. I say, how would I sign a harmless? I mean, I didn't notice signing a harmless with $230,000 lien on
Did
it.
you do a title search when you brought?
Well, the title company did, they had a title company.
Did you
It
make a
was
claim on your title insurance?
electronic signature, all these things. And now I end up with this, and I've been working with the city trying to get this resolved. After I put the dwelling and I put a fence, I registered as a vacant lot, I cleaned up the swell, there were people less fortunate people living in the property. Everybody in the city knows about it. So after I built it, this is the result of a property. And we find out that there's a $230,000 lien in it, which is unheard of on a vacant lot. But you know what? It's overgrown and people living in there, and
So what is it right now? Is it a house?
yeah.
It is,
This
it's
is
a
what we
single
did.
family home.
So you built a house on here, huh?
Yeah.
Did you build the house, sir?
Yes, I did.
And you are the owner of 627 47th Land Trust?
Yes.
That's you? Are you a developer, sir?
Well, I just built this single-family homes in West Palm.
Got to be honest, it seems like somebody in the business like you should be able to understand a title search and to be able to deal with your title company. If I mean, it's one thing to miss a small loan, you know, $1,000 here. It's another thing to miss a $230,000.
Yeah, and no, it was a tax issue, and they paid for the tax, like back taxes, but I never see it coming through with all this lien on.
All right, well, I guess let's cut to the chase here. The city has offered, what was the city's offer here?
25%,
Which is?
$57,500.
How much? Oh my God.
The city has offered to reduce it from 230 to 57.9, which is not an insubstantial thing, but the floor is yours. What are you asking me for?
To be honest with you, I mean, first of all, I mean, I know I bought it with that issue. It's mine now, but I was trying to offer probably about $7,000, $8,000 on this. I mean, it was a vacant lot at the beginning. It's not something that was a house there, and I didn't comply with the issue. It was just overgrown, and there were people living in there, but I got it taken care of it. I fenced it. I put the police sign on it, and
I'm inclined to give you a substantial reduction, but even if I reduced it by 90%, that's not 7,000, it's 23,000.
Yeah, but that's
a more reasonable offer.
Huh?
Make me a good offer. I'm trying to help you here.
Yeah. Well, we could do 10,000, and that's not being seen. I had paid other fees on a different property because before I got in front of you, I had to pay almost $36,000 for other property that were demoed by the city, and I paid, which I got to bring everything current to speak on behalf of this property, which I have the receipt, $17,000 for that next one, and the other one $18,000. I'm already $36,000
Yeah,
out.
that is the rule of the lien reductions. Everyone in here has to follow.
understand.
Those are the hard costs, but we also have to understand that even though right now we're only focusing on 627 47th Street, there are two other properties that we have to hear that also, you know, is the same situation here. I understand you're a developer, this is what you do, and just like the last case, we know that you're not the ones that brought on this violation, but just because you purchased the property does not mean that it negates all the resources that the city employees had to put in to ensure that these properties maintain the city aesthetics.
I agree. I mean, but I'm just making it, building something out of that, just instead of people living in there, unwanted people. And like I said, again, I paid for the previous properties almost $36,000 already, which is demo that was probably there already, that the city come out of pocket, plus landscape that the city paid. And I already paid for it before, so that way I could be current to speak on behalf of this property. So I have the receipts here.
Yeah,
And
but
the other
listen,
ones are not
we
that
have to
much of a,
I mean, you did receive this property at a good bargain, too.
well, back then, nothing was bargained with all these issues that people were there, they don't even,
Well, in 2020 is when you purchased this property from Cosquitero, correct?
from who?
Well, the previous owner.
Yeah, okay.
Well, the property appraisals is showing that you only paid less than $3,000 for this property.
Well, that's not correct, because part of that on the closing went to all the property taxes.
Again, as I mentioned with the previous case,
Yeah.
that is the risk that you take in, purchasing
Yeah.
properties like this. Again, the city appreciates the work that developers do here, but we can't set precedents and allowing people to think you can just come in, purchase a property, and hey, let's forget that these incurred these numerous amount of violations and these extensive fines.
Yeah, but we're not forgetting, we're trying here to resolve this matter. I'm
Yes,
making
and
it.
we are going to resolve
yeah.
it, but we have to give, we really have to be fair.
All right, well, let's see if we can get down to some of the numbers here. So the city's offered 25%, which would be 57. You said, I forgot what your offer was, sir. What were you offering? 10. I'll tell you what, I'll reduce it to 12.5. God, it's always complicated with these multiple
No, there's one
cases, isn't it?
$775.
No, I'm not going to touch that other one. That's $775. Let's leave that alone. I'll reduce the 230 to 12.5.
5, how many days, sir?
Thank you.
And I'll give you, how much time do you need, sir?
30 days. When did this get clear?
All right, I'll give you 30 days, 12.5.
So
I'm not reducing 0341. All right, what else we got?
Okay.
30 days.
So we have another one.
Sorry, trying to flip back to that. Number 15, case number is CE 06110027. Case address is 606 59th Street.
Case CE 06110027 was cited on November 1st, 2006, to remove boards off the windows and missing address characters. On December 15, 2006, the magistrate gave the property 30 days or $200 a day to achieve compliance. The property was out of compliance for 271 days, resulting in a lien amount of $54,200. New owner, city is seeking 25%.
So tell me about this one.
Just a bad investment. Well, we purchased this property in a tax deed. It was a vacant lot, clear. It wasn't. When we looked to search, we didn't find the record that it was a born certificate. It was a lien on it. So, being saying that, when we went to lien reduction, we found out there was a lot clearing, reinspection fees, and boarding. So, which the city cost them money to do that. So I already paid for it, $18,000. So to seek for a lien reduction on the $54,000 fines. So the hard cost, pretty much I paid the city for it to get this in front.
What are you asking me for, sir?
Honestly, I mean, I wanted to say maybe $1,000 on this because I'm out of $18,000. I'm already on the purchase this property for $70,000. So like plus 18, I'm already 90,000 into it, and they go and sell on that 70,000 with a deed and warranty deed and title insurance. That's not saying that that's your issue, but it happens.
This is why I'm not a very good investor. I don't even try to do these things. What's the city's offering?
One with listed with deed and warranty and title for 75 without going to all this, but I already did it, so it's done. It's paid $18,000 on fine.
What's the city's offer here?
The city will not accept $1,000 for this. And as he mentioned, this property incurred numerous, work by the city employees. I mean, there was over $18,000 worth of work that had to be done by our board and secure our contractors here. Those are the hard costs that he had to pay to get here, but unfortunately,
Those are the costs that the city incurred.
from having to basically maintain this property. But the lien amount here is $54,200. At 25% with the city's offer is $13,000. Just the counter will accept $6,000.
I'm already 18 plus 70. I'm like $2,500 on this. Can we do it? $2,500?
I appreciate that, but keep in mind, you walked in here with a lot more in fines than you're going to walk out of here with. I'll reduce it to $6,000 payable within 60 days.
All right.
Agenda item number 16 and 17. Same address. Case numbers are CE 05050123 and CE 10030177. case addresses.
You're a full-time job, sir.
Yeah, it is a full-time job when dealing with this. That's why I quit buying anything on the
All
auction.
right, what's the story on this one?
Okay, this one, case CE 050-50123 was cited on May 4, 2005 for the overgrown lot, exterior paint, and junk abandoned vehicles. On December 15, 2006, the magistrate gave the property 60 days or $100 to achieve compliance. Due to Hurricane Wilma, the property was given an additional 15 days on top of the magistrate order for compliance. The property was out of compliance for 72 days, resulting in a lien amount of $7,200. For this case, the city is seeking 25%. Case CE 100-30177 was cited on March 8, 2010 for grass and weed, wood on windows, boarding certificate, dead vegetation, repairing of walls and foundation, and exterior paint. On June 2nd, 2010, the magistrate gave the property 30 days or $100 to achieve compliance. The property was out of compliance for 8 days, resulting in a lien amount of $800. We're not seeking a reduction in this case.
You were also, these were also, the violations were under a previous owner, is that
Under
correct?
previous owners, yes, sir.
You've been busy, sir.
Yeah, it's been busy, but that's why I'm exiting this strategies. Too much work. And takes a year and a half to put all this in compliances but we
All
here,
right,
we
so
did
if I understand the city's offer, they've offered to reduce the case 16 to $1,800,
Yeah.
and they haven't made an offer to reduce the 17. So what are you asking me for, sir?
So the $800, what do they want to do? There's one for $800, one for $7,200.
For the one that's $7,200, the city's seeking $1,800, and the one that's for $800, we're not seeking a reduction. So $2,600.
So $2,600.
Yeah.
I don't feel like everything's gonna come out. The 627 is gonna keep coming in the bargain here. So, well, if this is, I was really planning to, at least 20%, $1,600 for both of them. But
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll reduce 50123 to 1,500, and I'll reduce the. I'll give you 100 off the other one, so I'll reduce that one to 700.
perfect. And we can pay this immediately, whatever,
How many days?
right away.
How many days you need?
5 days, 10 days.
30 days.
Fine.
Number 17,
thank you very much.
1,500 and 700. We still have more of these, don't we?
It's more, yes. Is Arlie packing up? Yeah.
All right, what else we got?
Okay.
Case 5, right?
Sorry, I think we are on number 10.
10 is not here.
Number 10 is not here, so we'll save it to the end in case they show up. Number 12,
Yes, ma'am.
Case number is CE 210700245. Case address is 210 33rd Street.
Case CE 210700245 was cited on July 22nd, 2021. The property was cited for failure to secure a building permit, required inspections, external doors and windows, clean and sanitary, pool, spa, and construction noise. On September 1st, 2021, the magistrate gave the property 5 days or abate for code sections 1816A, 1816N, and 30 days or $200 a day for code sections 105.1 and 110.1. The property was out of compliance for 51 days, resulting in a lien amount of $10,200. Same owner, city is seeking 25%.
Ma'am, can you tell me your name, please?
Good morning, Your Honor. I only have one property. My name is Jennifer Herman Feldman, and
And are you, how are you related to David Feldman?
David Feldman is my husband. He is a surgeon that works at the Paley Institute, doing limb and spine deformity, and is currently operating. He is the executor of my son Carter's estate. Carter is autistic and has pervasive development disorder, otherwise specified. He is not independent, and this house was purchased for him. He lives there with a caregiver, and he has other therapists that are part of his team that care for him throughout the day. He's about to turn 18. When I purchased this house, we had an inspection, and I am currently in a lawsuit with the inspection company. They failed to notify us that there was a problem with rat infestation.
Goodness.
And so the work that began was all in response to, so we had pulled a roof permit through a general contractor that I had met on another project. And I'm not in the construction, nor am I a developer. But I had met him, I trusted him. He turned out to be completely and wholly incompetent. And he instructed, when he was contacted by the roofing contractor, I had had him there for safety, to clean up and just to help me move in and just move stuff around, put furniture together. And I knew I was changing the roof. Immediately we knew that there was a rat problem from the roof contractor who did pull a permit. And this person took it upon himself to proceed with the things that the roof contractor was saying, like, hey, we need to do this, we need to do that, sorry. All of it should have been permitted. I was not ever made aware. When the roof contractor finished, he noticed that there was the rat population, we had tented the house. The rat population was either already there or they moved there. They moved to the fence line, which was like one of those double fences, so it's easy to nest in if you're a rat, and underneath the deck. And that contractor started pulling up the deck in order to make it available for the pest control. And I just, as a side note, the rat infestation was so bad that we had to contact and work with the city of West Palm Beach, and they had to close the local water systems and sewer in the area to help control it because it was that bad. And my neighbors all had to get involved because it was such a infested area. So it was not an easy fix. Back to the incompetent contractor, the city of Palm Beach came to the house. I was never informed. The people living with Carter didn't know. They saw something on the door. They thought that he was taking care of it. They didn't even think to look at it. I didn't know that there was an issue until I received a certified letter at my home address from the city of West Palm Beach, which is why there was a delay between you coming, not you, but someone coming, posting something on the door, and me reacting. Once I found out, I was on the phone daily. I own a business in New York. I travel, I commute actually every week. And I was calling constantly. No one got back to me. I think that the reason was because the inspector on that property was in the midst of retiring, and there was like a transition where my property was sort of being handed off. So I came down one day and I met with someone who walked me through the whole thing. It wasn't his job. He was lovely. and I immediately responded in writing and got all the permits straight away. We did some more work, which I permitted all of it. And so I believe something bad happened. I know ignorance of the law is not forgive you of the law, but all my actions, once I became aware, were very well intended.
Ma'am, so what are you asking me for?
Well, you know, this house was purchased for Carter from a trust fund that I put aside for him. So anything I would be paying for it would be taking from his future security. So I think, because we worked so hard to clean up the vermin and the rodents and worked well with the city of West Palm Beach and the neighbors to clean up that street from what was an epic, and I'm a city girl, I'm a New York City girl, so I know rat population, but it was epic. I do feel it should be significantly reduced. I would be glad to pay $1,000.
We'll go with your recommendation, Special Magistrate.
I'll reduce it to $1,500, payable 30 days. And I'm glad you got rid of the rats.
Excuse me?
And I'm glad you got rid of the rats. Thank you for coming in, ma'am.
Okay, and then agenda item number 13, case number is CE 21-110-0153. Case address is 618 58th Street.
Good afternoon.
So you had to wait for everybody else, huh?
I think we still have one more after this.
Oh, we
still have one more? Yeah.
It's like the never-ending extra matters agenda.
Case CE 2122-0153 was cited on November 9th, 2021. Property was cited for multiple violations, including providing window screens, external doors and windows, plumbing maintenance, equipment maintenance, rental license, certificate of use, business tax receipt, fence, wall violations, etc. On February 16, 2022, the magistrate gave the property an additional 40 days or $200 a day until compliance is achieved. The property was out of compliance for 6 days, resulting in a lien amount of $1,200. The same owner, the city is seeking 75%. Magistrate, this property was cited for, as you can see, for numerous violations, as well as having a tenant in the property. So we do feel that these violations could have impacted the life and safety of the tenants.
The floor is yours, sir. Can you tell me your name?
My name is Jonathan Oko. We acquired the property, my wife and I. The tenant was already living in the property. I think she resided
Is
there.
your wife Stacy Oko?
Stacy Oko, yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
She lived on the property for about, I think, 8 years plus. The property was acquired from her pastor. The understanding was that we'll let her stay on the property till the end of the year, which was December, because the intention was to go in, replace the windows, fix up the property, needed some repairs. But unfortunately, she decided she didn't want to move. So once we found out, we decided we would evict her. Upon filing the eviction, that was when the whole problem started. She contacted the code enforcement. She wasn't cutting the lawn. And so it's really strange because everything we were cited for, we proceeded to address. What we didn't know was the lawn wasn't cut for about a week, which was overgrown lawn. So we retained a company based in Indian Town. They will come out weekly and cut the lawn. It rained a lot this particular week, and so the lawn overgrown a little bit. And I actually found out from the code enforcement officer, Mr. Watkins, who's a very decent gentleman. And that's how I found out there was actually a hearing. We had no clue. When I
Hold on one
inquired why we
second.
didn't
How long was
receive
this
any
property out of compliance?
Give me a second. I'm sorry. They were out of compliance for 6 days.
It's actually not terrible.
Yeah, we had no clue. And I found out from the code enforcement officer, and I thought, wow, we didn't receive any correspondence. He advised me the mail was actually sent to the property. We don't reside there. Our mailing address is in the system. And I thought since we have a good working relationship, to focus on addressing the issue of the windows, etc. So everything was done, permitted. We had to wait for permits. So everything has been approved. The building has been passed. So I thought it would be wise to ask for a loan reduction. While we were dealing with this, there were multiple illegal dumpings, and we contacted the city and the City of West Palm Beach Police Department. They opened up an investigation. We thought it would be removed without any charges to us.
All right, I don't want to go there. That's well beyond my jurisdiction.
Yes, Your Honor.
So what are you asking me for, sir?
Well, I was hoping the fine would be waived if there has to be a fine, $100, $100.
I'm sorry, how much?
$100.
And if I go back, I think you were asking for 75%?
Yeah.
Why 75%?
Because as we stated, I mean, if you look at the violations that were cited here, and there was a tenant in the property, I mean, some of these violations really could have impacted the life and safety of the tenants. And I understand that, yes, it was cleaned up within 6 days, which we do appreciate, but it just goes to show that without the city intervening, how much longer would that have proceeded?
Well, the tenant, let me help you out a little bit. The tenant lived on the property when we acquired it, and she wasn't paying us any rent. We were actually paying the water bill to the city. She refused to pay even the water bill. So we came to the city and paid the water bill while she resided on the property.
We understand that, but but also understand that when a code officer goes to the property, if the violations are valid, they will cite for what's going on at the moment. So these are valid violations, and I understand that that the tenants may have refused to pay rent, but that does not mean that they have to then be subjected to living in a property that you or myself would not want to live in.
I agree with you. We acquired the property knowing the property needed repairs. But we also had an understanding with her that she had to vacate the property at the time we agreed to. But it was her decision not to. Once again, we acquired the property. It's our problem. We understand that. The only bone of contention at the time was that we're not notified. I found out from the code enforcement officer.
All right, I think I understand this well enough. I'm going to reduce this to $300 payable 30 days. That's 25%.
Thank you. Thank you.
30 days?
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, but last but not, this is the last one, right?
This is the last one.
All right.
Least.
Yes.
Number 14, case number is CE 21120175. Case address is 436 53rd Street.
Case CE 211-20175 was cited on December 14, 2021. Property was cited for fence wall maintenance, outdoor storage, repeat violation, and junk and abandoned vehicles. On March 16, 2021, the magistrate gave the property an immediate fine for the repeat violation at $25 for code section 9471C. The property was out of compliance for 112 days, resulting in a lien amount of $2,800. Same owner, city is seeking 35%.
Sir, can you tell me your name?
Yes, my name's Nick Campius.
And what is your relation to the owner BBE Inc.?
I'm part owner of BBE Inc.
So what are you asking me for, and why should I grant it to you?
First of all, thank you for giving me the opportunity to meet with everyone here today and present the case. And also, I've been sitting here through all the other cases, so I can see a lot of it's emotionally charged, and it's probably hard for you guys to kind of sit here and hear all these stories all day long. So thank you for the process that you do. So I wish I could see the picture. I don't know do you have the picture? I don't know who's controlling the computer. Do you have the picture of the abandoned car?
Of the violations?
Yeah.
Well, he's actually talking about the case number. Yeah, it's in the case, the actual case file, but we're not here to
that's
dispute
fine.
the
That's
order.
fine. I was just curious. I was never had an abandoned car before. So the property, it's a multi-unit property, and it has renters, and sometimes the renters, leave out garbage or certain things. Not a lot. It's not like a dumping or anything like that, but they leave things out, and we're not aware of it. I drive, I live in Fort Lauderdale, and I drive there about once a week, so I don't see everything. I mainly do maintenance, air conditioning, plumbing, you know, cabinets, just standard maintenance, handyman work. That's my role. And we don't see it all the time. So things happen, and typically Lisa, who's not here today, she works with the code officer. Let me get you his name. Officer Robert Watkins.
Yes.
Yeah, and they have a great working relationship, and whatever he tells her needs to get done, she gets it done. I think there's a particular case where he told her something and she remediated it, but didn't realize she had to come to court. So because of that, the violations started piling up. So I'm here to discuss a lien reduction because we typically keep the property very clean and very nice. If you go to Google Maps and look at like the street view, you'll even see a clean property. So, and that's random, right? Nobody knows when Google drives around. So it's typically a very, very clean property. And since obviously some of these violations have been remediated, what we've done is we've actually evicted, well, not evicted, let me rephrase that. We did not renew the contract of the previous tenants because they were not keeping the property nice enough. That's why when you mentioned the car and everything, they were doing car work in the parking lot there, and because of that, it made it look like, you know, not nice. So we didn't renew the contract, and we got new tenants, and we made them sign a separate contract, you know, guaranteeing that they're going to keep the property clean at all times. Then we went ahead and paid for and purchased cameras, and I can show you on my phone. We have a complete view of the property, every single section of the property, to make sure that it's clean, and we actually check it daily. We also replaced all the sod, and we added clusia all throughout the property. So in total, we spent probably about $3,500 between cameras, installation, sod installation, clusia installation, mulch, and everything else. We spent about $3,500 just beautifying the property, which was, again, nice to begin with, but obviously the renters led it to get violations. So now, to prevent us claiming ignorance, we now have cameras, and we now can see constantly what's going on. And when we see something wrong, we immediately call the renters and say, hey, on the camera, we see you left a bicycle out there. Just put it in the back where it's out of view. That's where it belongs. Hey, you left the garbage cans where they're visible from the road. Move them where they're supposed to be, away from the road. So we've
I appreciate that level of proactiveness. So what are you asking me for?
Yeah, so we've complied, and we've done improvements to prevent it from happening again in the future. So what I'd like, if Your Honor, if you could, a 95% reduction.
Which would be what? 5%, which is, so you're asking for $140, and the city is asking for $980? Is that right? I'm doing math in my head, so you'll have to.
He's asking for 100, we're asking for 700.
You're asking for what?
700, 35%, that's what?
Okay, so I did bad math.
Yeah.
So you're asking for $735, and respondent is asking for $140. I'm not going to give you 95, but if you make me another offer, I might take it.
Right. I'll tell you how I even got to 95. I was listening to the other cases, and these investors that purchased it, very well knowing they got a discount because of the lien, got 95% discounts. We are an investor that bought 22 years ago, has kept the property pretty, and some of the renters got a little messy, and we resolved the issue and even made improvements to prevent it in the future. So we don't have to get 95.
This is also a repeat
I'm
violation.
telling you how I came up with that number.
This is also a repeat violation, which means that this came.
Right. Yeah. And that's why we installed the cameras, to make sure there is no future violations. So, I mean, I'll leave it up to you. I think the city was very generous with their reduction. I'm just telling you why I came up with the number I came up with. But, you know, really, I appreciate any reduction you can do. And
I'll tell you what, I'll reduce it to $300, payable 30 days.
I think that's wonderful. Thank you so much to the city and to you.
All right.
Is this? Can I pay on a credit card? Is that an option?
I have no idea to answer that question.
Okay, that's fine. So I'll do a check. Yeah.
All right. There being no further business before us, there is no further business before us, right? We are adjourned.